Look, everything will be revealed on Tuesday, February the 24th. That is the release. You can't sign up now because we haven't released it yet. 5 days, February 24th. That is next Tuesday. Thank you for asking, and we'll continue to throw it up there. Well, usually when I'm talking about it, you can see it on the slide. That's absolutely fine. But it's only 5 days till Trader TV Academy goes live, and that's when you'll be able to check it out. We're going to enjoy some salmon today. If it was good yesterday, I'm sure it's going to be good again today.
It'll probably be the same one.
Well, that's exactly what I'm getting at. It'll be prepared exactly how you had it yesterday, so we'll probably enjoy it. And we'll send you guys to the Professor Sharif. Joey Options is back and locked and loaded and ready to go. I'll be back at 2, and then we'll have Obi on.
Yeah, Obi. It'll be with Obi, so you guys can. No, I have an appointment to attend to. Yeah.
Go get him, boys.
See you guys.
Sino just shafted us right there. You saw that? Okay. Boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That guy right there, you know him. He's your boy, Joey freaking Options, and I'm Sharif. And I hope everybody is having a blessed morning. That's okay. I'm sorry, SSE, bro. You don't upset SSE, my boy. I was talking to him about Carnival. My friend's at Carnival
in Brazil,
and she's putting all these videos out there. It's crazy, but he's seen the same videos on television.
Day and night, man. It doesn't stop.
Joey, before I die, before I croak, I will be there.
Yeah, you have to. I think that's something that you want to. Okay, bucket list.
Let's say hello to everybody. Shout out to Hangry Wife. She says Joey, Agent 47. We got Wyatt, All Things Trump. Shout out to Jody. Hey, Joe. I hope Milo's feeling better.
Oh, whoa.
Papacito.
Whoa, yeah.
We got 420 Bud Monster. We got Damien Tarza. Shout out to Dan Gale. We got Mike PD Rider, Front Porch Trader, Angry Rob Entertainment. Mike, we got him. Sit and Spin. Shout out to Phil Ossifer, Halal Affirmation Coach KG2. Shout out to Custom ATH Raw BHL Short Film Tony, that's it. Oslim. Who else, man? We got Mike Dams, Oshiri, Mike or Smelly Warts. All right. Front Porch Trader. Yeah, it doesn't sound appetizing there, Katina, man. I gotta tell you the truth. Philip Buford. These are new names. That's what I want to see. The Trader Sam, Rusty Shackle. Shout out to Manifest Codes Now. Farm Trader. He's an OG. Nikki V. We got Big 40 Nephew. One more. Joey. Robert Lewis and Winnie the Pooh Guru. I lied. Good morning, brother.
All right, man. Good morning, by the way. Yeah, guys. Thanks for the wishes. He's doing good, much better. Some probiotics, some scary stuff. He was up early in the morning. Yeah, it wasn't good, man. It's scary because he doesn't speak. Obviously, if he did, we make things a lot easier, right? So surprisingly so. Yeah, hey, man, watch it, Katina, man. That's my boy.
Come on, man, he doesn't speak.
That's my boy. We don't. Anyways, I'm playing with you.
Joey's getting sensitive. I love it.
Yeah, hey, that's my kid,
That's my boy, bro.
I don't know if it's your first dog or not, but like most dogs
Definitely
won't
not.
speak. So
no, he doesn't speak. But what I was getting,
I don't want poor Milo to feel bad because he doesn't speak or anything. But yeah, that's awesome.
I understand.
For Sharif, myself. We're dog owners.
Absolutely.
So I would definitely that's actually a scary thought when you have injury because it's like a family member, and so great to hear that he's doing fine and hopefully those drugs didn't cost too much money over there.
Oh, that's the problem, Katina, man. That is the problem.
See, you guys, I'm on one leg right now. Yesterday, lost another leg because I had to pay for everything, essentially arm and a leg, right? So maybe we'll go off this arm. No, obviously being, it is what it is, man. Those guys, they'll run your wallet. All right.
No, they will.
Yeah, they will.
Been there, bro.
They'll run it up.
100% accurate.
Yeah, anyways.
Go on, Joey.
Aside from that, guys, Walmart, a couple attempts. We got a nice move here on the initial, and I'm like, all right, give me something north of 30, and then I'm going to take it off. And then sure enough, it came. I'm like, let me get back out. Turns around, and I only take 20% off right there. So not much really going on with the WMT right now. Forming that bull flag, maybe we'll get a little bit of a continuation to the top side and breach that 130 mark. But there's a lot of resistance at that specific zone. And then I've been sitting in the TQ since 1013. It hasn't really done much here either. I mean, we run into that 49.30 level and then we come back in. So a lot of ebb and flow. Let's see which direction this market decides to choose here today. So yeah, I find Sharif and I were just saying, yeah, I think we're stuck in limbo right now. No specific 100%. Direction up and down. So it is what it is. What was I looking at? I was actually wanting to short this. Where is this name?
Where's it at?
Where was it? KLAR. I wanted to, but then I had to go into the shorting pool and grab shorts. By the time I did all of that, the trade would have been gone and without me. So I was looking to go south on this specific name, which would have worked, right? The break of this support level, 1551. Hit the key, says I needed to order them. I'm like, that's no fun. So we didn't get that opportunity. I'm in the TQs. Hopefully we can go topside, $50 will be my target. If it breaks VWAP, we'll get out of that one. And then there goes Walmart to the downside on failed multiple attempts. And then here's Figma as well. We were taking a look at this name, maybe a continuation to the short side. You have that gap down. There's been no bounce in this name whatsoever. I mean, other than what we're experiencing right now, you open up on top of some key resistance zones. But since the IPO, it's just like steady to the downside, a high of $144, now 25%. Dare we even get a percentage metric on this one? Yeah, 82%. Wow, that's lots of fun, isn't it? But no, aside from that, guys, Walmart, glad we got out of that one. Break even, 20% off right here. Still sitting in some TQQQs to the long side, guys.
BATL is breaking out. Best print I have is 45s, high day 47. We got 21s. It's showing me 24s. If it loses 18, I'm out. It's that simple. Here's 18. Watching, there's a buyer at 18, ironically enough, and that's the end of the trade there. So we will go break, well, we'll lose 3 pennies a share on the last remaining amount, but it was a great breakout. I caught it using the hotkeys. I am setting up my hotkeys, guys, on most of these gateways. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more nuanced with it, and we'll have different hotkeys for different sizes, different gateways. We're gonna be doing it live. We're gonna do the RC style coming up. So yes, BATL, number 1. Yeah, Mike PD Ryder, he knows, bro. He knows. If you want to trade these small cap gappers, you want to get in the game, so to speak, you got to have the hotkeys. Otherwise, you just move too quick, man. And I'm old, right? So it's hard. But anyway, BATL, shut up. BATL, topping tail candle into the $0.50, indecisive right now, kind of equidistant price action between the top and the bottom. It is losing it in a hurry, down into 516 it goes. So here's the deal, man. I see a bunch of support, formally resistance at the whole dollar level. We know that 5 will likely be a psychological area of resistance. Support previously resistance. So I want to see if it weasels down there. Now, current bar low, give you some levels. Current bar low is 514, so we haven't printed anything single digits on this current candle, but I'll be looking for 5. Now, if 5 fails, where am I looking? Well, there's a bit of a buy area here, the way I see it. VWAP is screwing up here between 450 and around 470. 10 EMA on the 5, showing more around 470. VWAP showing more around 4.5. That creates a buy zone for me, but that is all predicated upon, of course, it losing that $5 level. So we're going to keep an eye out on that. By the way, new candle low 512, prior 514. So keep your eye out on that. I'm very interested in continuing the trade here on BATL. Looking real good. What's this monster up on the day? It's up 70.5. All right, so it's not triple digits quite yet, but we haven't been really getting a lot of triple digits lately. I don't know if you guys know that. I've realized that, I mean. The other one that I'm looking at, CISS. Look, this one, you know, when you get kind of these outsized moves and then reversions, outsized moves and reversions, it kind of puts me off a little bit from trading it. But upon further inspection, it does look like a stair step up. Let me make my case. So look at this pre-market, very clear pre-market high at around 750, right? Well, where does it reject at? It rejects around that $2 area. Okay, fine. Easy. Now what happens? When we clear that, and trust me, bro, we cleared it at 930 with some distance into 243, continue, man. Look where it ends up finding support. Lo and freaking behold, it's finding support at 2. Pre-market high resistance, initially, not the pre-market high, sorry. Pre-market resistance 2, now post regular trading hours support at 2. Now, that's the first step of the equation. Now, what's the other? What I'm seeing is here, we got higher lows on the closing prints. To me, that means buyers, at least for now, are in control. So we have a bit of a range, let's say between 210 and 215 as support, and then about 225 to 230. No, I want to say 230 to 235 as resistance. So my initial observation on CISS, build your freaking position towards the lower end of the range. Now, it may leave without you, right? Because there's no guarantee that it's going to continue to range. It's going to break out. It could break out at any point. To me, though, I want to put the odds in my favor, and so I'm looking for a buy zone here. I want to say between 2 mid-20s and 2 mid-teens, okay? So 225 to 215, give or take that range. Now, it looks like it's already weaseling up into 40. So CISS, certainly one for me to watch. Now, as you'll see, ATOM, this was a holdover from yesterday. It's losing it in a hurry. It's lost VWAP. It might lose its spot on the side chart. RCAT as well, another holdover from yesterday. You can see the ticker there. It had a nice move, and then it lost it around 230, and it lost its place on the side chart. But it's making another move today, by the way, with substantially higher highs. Yesterday, we had a high of 275. Today, we've got a high of 1350. So we continue to increase those highs, but, you know, it's pulling back a little bit now. We're going to keep an eye on RCAT. And then another holdover from yesterday, FJet. We had a great look at FJet, a great trade on FJet, and it's doing it live again today. Clearing the highs by some distance. It looks like we had trouble. In fact, we didn't get above 10 at all yesterday on FJet. Today, we're knocking the door of 11.5, 1144. But take a look at Cicino at these topping tail candles over here. To me, this means the shorts they're getting quite aggressive at around that $0.50. When it manifests for 20 minutes in this way, you got to take note. Take heed. All right, let me have a look quick over here. Zen Zombie, my man. He's dropping 2 in the chat. He says DNN and YIBO. I see you, Fluffsters. Stay away from cis. It messed with my emotions. All right, Fluffy. I ain't going to touch it because you mess with Fluffy, you're messing with me. So let's take a quick look here at what Zen Zombie said there. Let's start with DNN. What do we got here, Joey? Let's take a quick look. Oh, this is not a bad looking daily chart at all. Up 3.5 today, so not big, but it's a fantastic looking daily. Okay, good bull flag breakout there with an upper tilt. This is not bad. It's not up big. What's the volume on this? First of all, it's $3 2/3 billion market cap, having done about 12 million shares on the day. So it's not bad. It doesn't fit really my strict criteria, but you know, we can be a little loosey-goosey with that market cap. But anyway, not a bad look here for DNN. I'd say play it as a bull flag breakout continuation. You're picking it up towards the low end of the range. You're looking for a continuation of the bull flag. If it loses $4, get the hell out, okay? Let's see the other one, YIBO. Sorry, Joey, just give me a sec here. Cover these supers. I don't like YIBO intraday. It had a great aftermarket yesterday. I don't know if this was earnings or not. 415 breakout. Why the hell did this halt? So it probably news pending. So probably not earnings. I can check my blotter, but just from the price action, the fact that it halted in the aftermarket typically means news pending. And then you resumed, I believe, at 435. You made highs there of almost $1.50 in the aftermarket. But then look at that, bleeding its own blood today, as your boy Joey Opsh, whom we missed yesterday, it would say. And then this one's breaking down below $1. Let's take a quick look at the daily. Yeah, the daily stinks of small cap gapper. Outsized days only to revert. So I like DNN. I don't like YIBOs and Zombie. Let me know how it goes.
All right, guys. Yeah, so we're going to re-engage. You can see that we're long the TQs. We mentioned that we were long it from 10-12 here this morning, and we're heading back towards that resistance zone. So let's see how we react. I'm kind of going against the grain here. So this is a failed bull flag breakout. Not too good. As you can see, we're a little bit more than 20 cents OTM now, almost 30 cents. So that's not fun whatsoever. The VWAP on P Pro and what I see on this chart here, you can see it's a slight difference. You have the 120.72, and this is around 128.19. So we don't love that kind of spread. But anyways, let's see if we can get somewhat of a hold there. If it breaks both of them, then we'll have to get out of Dodge. We'll take a little bit bigger of a loss than what we want to just waiting for it to come into play. But I think we can get a bounce here in Walmart considering a strong recovery, this pullback. I tried on multiple occasions. So I was sitting on this. With this specific trade, I would have took a little bit more out at the break of 130, but we got into 130 and I'm like, all right, give me like 05s or 10s or something along those lines. So getting a little bit greedy on that one. We should have took some off. But now I was waiting and the volume was starting to cool off on these pullbacks. I'm like, okay, let's see if we can sit through it. But then as soon as we headed towards the lower end of the range, I'm like, I have to get out of this. Yeah, Walmart is absolutely tanking right now to the downside. I know Katina Man short this one. So nice look there as that bull flag did fail. And on a daily, we can take a look at it as well, guys, and see what we got going on. We are heading towards some key support levels. So this was a green candle initially, now starting to turn red. So we have to be cautious on what we're going. I can't wait for too long, otherwise we'll take too big of a loss. And we don't want to keep this little red streak that I have going on today. We were trying to flip things around today, but that doesn't seem to be the case just yet. But plenty of time. We'll sit in this TQQQ's trade, and if we get somewhat of a bounce, then we're going to be sitting pretty right now. But first things first, we're going to take one step at a time and not get too ahead of ourselves. If Walmart decides to sell, then we don't want to get too what is the word that I'm looking for? Stubborn on the fact that, hey, it may not be working for us. What's FSLY up to? Yeah, guys, if there's anything specific that you want to go over, let's actually, hold on, before we do any of that, I want to take a look at the options chain here on Walmart to see why we keep rejecting that 130 mark. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see some open interest in that neck of the woods, right? OPEX here, 130. Okay, yeah, so that's why, right? So now that I look at it, I don't know why I didn't do this a little bit earlier. So 130, this is going to be the largest amount of size, 49.4%. I mean, for an earnings report, that's not bad whatsoever, but we are continuously running into this supply zone. And you can see that it also has the most substantial volume out of all of these strike prices. And you can go through multiple, right? Like you go through 5 strikes and you still won't amount to this. There goes the TQs on the breakout though. We like that. Let's see if we can run into 49.50s. I would love 50 mark on this considering I've been sitting in it for so long. I may as well try and hold to target. But yeah, you got a positive gamma exposure right here with your delta. Still relatively cool, sitting on that 30 mark, okay? So we'll keep an eye out on this one. Maybe we'll get somewhat of a rebound. We are now at, even though it's moved off to my chart, we are now at this charting platform's volume weighted average price. So a bounce there would be nice. If it continues to move to the south side, then we'll just have to take the hit, which is approximately 50 cents right now. We don't like that one, that's for sure, Sharif. But we are still slightly in the money here on the TQQQ. So that will kind of just mitigate some of the loss here on Walmart. Still keeping us slightly red, but that's totally fine. Moving forward, let's see what we got on the Qs and see why we keep rejecting this 49.30 level. Does it want to pull it up? It does. So nothing substantial at that in the 607, 606 mark. You can see a lot of volume starting to kick in. Lots of volume at 605. So we run right back into that prior resistance zone. And then now we're coming back in. We talk about breakouts all the time, guys. We want to see that volume really start to step in as you're punching through resistance. I do like the format that we have on the 5-minute time frame. So I'm not going to panic just yet. Waiting for that rebound in Walmart. Let's see if we can break through this 49.30 level here on the TQQQ. Guys.
All right, in CISS and in BATL, we're scalping BATL over here. I was just talking to the Fluffsters in the chat. She's like, you know, it looks like you're a little hesitant with this one. I'm not hesitant as much as I am cautious about the range that it's establishing. So it really does look like a bull flag breakout, with the breakout really having manifested at 1040, 1045. Then we get the consolidation after that 11 o'clock bar, or you can even make the 11:05 bar because that's the high of the day. And now we're just trying to hold 5. We're holding prior bar low on BATL, but we're not exactly making any higher highs. In fact, it looks like the selling is incrementally dropping level by level. It was a 27 seller, then they dropped to 25, then they dropped to 21s, 19s, 18s. So let's see if we can take out some of these sellers. I'm trying to pack the patience over here. So my out is prior bar low. And if it holds prior bar low, I stay in the trade. If it doesn't, I'm out. CISS, a bit of a different look. I'm trying to build a position, as I've mentioned. With this one, I perceive a range. So I got in at 25s. It's showing me 25, so I'm break even for the moment. But I am looking, as you can see there, the cyan line. I'm looking, pardon me, to get in some more. towards that, high teens, low 20s. All right, watching BATL move back into the 20s. Can it clear prior bar high? To do that, guys, it's got to take out 38s. We are still substantially below that, showing 21. So it's not exactly like we're rocketing up, and it feels like the selling is coming in again. And the spread on BATL here is... I mean, I don't get it. There's a lot of volume taking place here, despite the fact that this is on the MX, so we know it's the bamboozler. But I don't understand why the spread is what it is. It's tightened up now to a penny, but I've seen it as wide as 5, 6. Let's see what this one has to offer. Pack in the patience. So nothing to do here other than to wait for more in terms of getting in more for CISS or waiting for the breakout on BATL. But I want to talk about RELY as well, because that one is making a move. Nasdaq, show yourself. There we go. This one is close to the highs, right? So there we go. 1773. The high 1788 is up 30 and change. It's looking real good here. Prior bar low on RELY. Let me give you guys that so you can base your trade on that. 1759. We're showing 68s. That's my invitation to go in. So we'll give this one a little bit of room below prior bar low so that we don't, get stop hunted. We have 69s on. Okay, very good, very good. Let's see if we can get a little bit higher over here. High of days 88s. Okay, so I have to pack the patience on that. I do see you guys are tagging me. I'm sorry. Just give me a sec for these trades to resolve. I'm getting out here of BATL as it did break prior bar low, so we'll give back a little bit there, but we'll still stay positive on it. Now I'm either waiting for that 475 area to come in. No, it's actually not 475 anymore. It's 488 where the 10 EMA is, or VWAP, which is around a little bit less than 4 2/3. So we're going to look for that area to come in, still holding CISS and still holding RELY. So we can pack the patience on those. What is your red line called? The red line on my black charts is a 50 exponential moving average. 50 exponential, and as well on the white charts, but you can hardly see it. That's the 50 EMA. Lemon family. Joe, Sharif was right. I have a dog, Lemon, and daughter. My dog seems to cost more than my daughter. LOL, glad your dog is good. Yes, absolutely. When your boy Joey Opsh told me that Milo wasn't doing too well, I mean, obviously I've been there with my dogs multiple times, bro. I can't even tell you. Veronica has been sickly since I got her. Yeah. So she's had eye problems. Oh, yeah? She's blind in one eye, right? Oh, basically, I had to save the other eye. That cost me a fortune for the surgery. She has allergies and skin conditions. She has, what's it called? She's the thing you take thyroid for. She has a thyroid problem as well. Betty now has Crohn's disease. How old are they now? They're born in February 2015. Oh, okay. So they're getting up there. They're 11. Yeah. It's tough, brother. It's tough, but that's the name of the game, man. I hate to put it like that, but I think this is my last dog combo because it's too much pain, and it's like you're setting yourself up for disaster every decade and a half. You're gonna go through an emotional, You know exactly what I'm talking about there. It sucks. I remember I had a dog. His name was Zeke, a King Shepherd. Man, what a beauty that guy was, Zeke. Yeah, and that was it hurts, bro. Yeah, that was a horrible day, man. We won't get too deep. I had to carry him into the back of the car, and that was a bad time. I don't like living those moments. Yeah, it was a bad time, man. Walmart playing tricks. These nicey boys, not giving me some fun. So we take a hefty hit there. We ran into this resistance zone on the TQQQs. What did I take off? I took off 30% here at those highs. So that's helping. ADL, I was looking for 50s, but we're so chop fest right now. I had to take a little bit off. Maybe we can wait for 49 50s. I wanted 50s flat, but you can see that we break through these resistance zones, and then we come right back in. We took a hefty hit here on Walmart, something that I didn't necessarily want to do, but I had faith in it. So Walmart, Manny. But now it's like, hey, we might turn around here, Joe. So maybe Diamond Hands, one more attempt on it. And if it doesn't
work for us, then I think that's going to be it for WMT attempts on the long side. I should probably take a little bit more off on the TQs here and just leave 30% as a runner, I'm thinking, just to play it safe, lock in some more profit, because you know what they say, right? This is going to be a good move, for I think, on my behalf. We'll take it up there. And we'll take one more attempt. So we're just slowly shaving off these Walmart losses right now, considering these are this one and this one. I had about 33% more size on both of these entries, thinking that we'd get a little bit more of a sustained bounce, but that hasn't been the case. We break through the volume weighted average price, and then we just continued. So it's been about 40 minutes of consistent selling here in Walmart, but we got about 15 minutes of going to the top side here in the TQQQs. So we'll look at the bright side of things, right? I'm Mr. Bright Side. Boom, we'll hit that one. And who sings that one? Maroon 5 there. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, aside from that, guys, let's head over to the TQ. So Walmart not doing us any favors on today, and definitely not with our picks. But what is slowly starting to work and sitting in this chop fest, the TQ stuck in limbo here, guys. 49.40 was around that high. We take it. The killers. All right, the killers. All right, so there it is. Shows you how much I know. Not too bad of a look. 48.97. We get up into almost 49.40s. Not too bad whatsoever. Let's see if we can take one more attempt on good old Wally right here.
All right, I'm still keeping an eye on BATL, but it's still putting in lower highs. So what I'm going to insist upon is the break of trend. Now, you know, that could lure me into a bull trap. I get that. But, you know, we're going to try to put the odds on our side. BATL will be in focus for me. But we're doing well here on CISS. As I mentioned, I'm trying to pick it up towards the low end of the range. It was the candle at 11.10 that I missed, the low of which was 217. That's where I should have had my dip trade in and around that area. I didn't, so I ended up getting $0.25. I've wet the beak once into that third of a dollar, and we haven't wet the beak again. So let's go ahead and take some out here just in case, and we're going to keep an eye out on that. Yeah, that one's still dripping down. With respect to RELY, I have my out through the low of the 11.15 candle on the 5, the low of which is 11.59. So let's see if it holds up in and around that area. But BATL is losing it and losing it quickly here, man. Holy, it's coming into VWAP. VWAP's at 4 2/3. Here's 4 3/4, 4 4/5. Just flashed here. I don't know why I have one price on this program and one price on that program. That's no good.
Dude, I was looking at my charting today. It's like on here, it's showing me different candle prints. On here, it's showing me other ones, man. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's not even, no, Sharif, it's not it's like, what the, yeah, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Mr. and Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
You know when they're they're going through therapy and like Brad
Spy
Pitt
movie, right?
Yeah, Brad Pitt's like you're trying to, and that's just like essentially what I want.
That's how you feeling, like,
right?
yeah, respect that, Joey.
You know, if you guys know, you
that,
know.
my boy. All right, CISS continuing to make moves into the high side here. We're holding some. We got 34s on now. We have 25s on. I'm going to want to get some more here. The upward channel is pretty apparent. Now, I don't feel this is a flat top breakout, despite the fact that we keep getting resistance in and around the same area. I want to say 230 to 235 to 240. Showing 235s now. I've got no new orders out at the moment. Here's what I'll do. I'm going to put it above the high of the day. Otherwise, I'm going to look to get in a bit more. Okay? So that would necessitate a dip trade here. So where is the dip trade going to be? Well, I don't want to base it out on prior bar low, because prior bar low has been zigging and zagging, and that ain't the move. So here's what I'm keeping an eye on. I'm going to put 2 1/4 again, Joey. So we're going to go ahead and just front run that a little bit, put it at 26s and see what comes of that. But that is the move. But I am now 10 pennies out of the money on RELY. And that displeases me. So decisions to be made here. It's losing the trend. It's at the 10 EMA, but it feels like it's losing trend. I'm going to kind of insist that this lose a 10 EMA. I'm going to pack the patience here in case this one does catch a bid, because it's still putting in a decent day. A decent day, and I don't want to take it out too quickly. So we're going to pack the patience on CISS and RELY, and I'm certainly now looking at possibly getting in a scalp trade off the volume weighted average price on BATL, despite the fact that one is still suffering from a downtrend. So my move here on BATL will be a scalp trade off VWAP, not a breakout trade like I'm looking for if that trend line was to break. So 477s, let's go ahead. I'm going to wait at 69 for a possible dip here with the out being below VWAP. That is going to be my move on BATL. I haven't quite got the fill yet, showing 72s now, waiting at 69. Let's see if it holds up there. Do I get the fill? Number one, does it bounce off this level? It looks like it might be already bouncing here. I'm not chasing it. Either I get the 69 print or I wait for the trend break. It's already bouncing into the 80s. Okay, so I've missed it. That's fine. Into the 90s it goes. Yeah, I didn't want to chase it because you don't really know what it's going to do. So you need that good price so that you can stop out a lot closer to your price. So that's okay. 2 New York cents. I'm back in FJet, my man. FJet's having a good day again. But we know it's showing a little bit of weakness. Trend is still good, but can you confirm a possible reload? I'm seeing a flat top break candidate. I really haven't changed my opinion on that, brother, because I just got stop hunted, by the way, on RELY, but it's okay. I might get back into that. Yeah, this is what I see here, that 1140, 1135 area resistance. Look at the topping tail candles, though. That's what concerned me. That was my initial observation about FJet, why there were so many topping tail candles in a row. Usually means the sellers are quite aggressive at that level. I'd pick it up at the lower end of the range, to be honest with you, to New York, just so that, you know, if it loses 11, your stop could just be right below 11. And 11 is not just psychological support here. It's also the 10 EMA on the 5, which I like. So keep your eye out on that. Let me know how it goes. But, yeah, that's going to be my move there. Continuing to watch here with CISS, another new area high into 36s. That dip trade that I had at 26 goes unfilled. It's 10 pennies away from that level. So, yeah. Just before we go to Adira, KNRX. I think Casey was talking about that as well. Yeah, so I do see that, and I know that this is right down Casey's alley because she loves the halters. But, you know, when I'm on the show, it's really hard to trade these halters, especially on a prop floor as well, where you have to manage risk in a certain way. Here's what we're looking at. Let me flip to the 1-minute chart here on KNRX. So halt 1 at 9:30, right at 9:30. Halt 2, 9:46. Down halt, 9:57. Up halt, 10:06. And we haven't halted since. Now it's below VWAP, and it's putting in a downtrend. What's this high over here? That's 1014 high, so that broke pre-market high. So it's not bad, but it has to work above VWAP, and it has to start showing me higher highs and higher lows. I don't want to catch it on a downtrend. You have anything before we go to Dara?
No, go. We can head over to
Dara. Crypto segment, baby.
Crypto, here is BTC. This is its 3rd straight day to the downside, and it's unfortunate because we actually had a really nice start to the day, both pre-market here for Bitcoin and then also in terms of what names like Coinbase, MSTR, etc. did off the open, bouncing around 9:45 to 10, like a lot of the major indices and some of these larger names. Bitcoin, though, still range-bound in that pattern I mentioned yesterday with these lower highs and higher lows after recovering from that drop and pop on Thursday, February 5th, and Friday, February 6th, respectively. Let's take a look here at Ethereum. ETH continuing to kind of make the same pattern as Bitcoin, though unlike Bitcoin, ETH actually looks like it wants to make a lower low. In addition to these lower highs, that lower low would have to be a crack below 1900, currently trading around 1921. We'll take a look at Solana, SOL, and again, really all of these names looking very similar in terms of that drop and then almost bear flag formation from the descent here on February 5th and then recovery in February 6th. We'll take a look at Cardano as well before we send you back to the midday boys. Cardano looking a little bit different, actually. Cardano has that drop and then pop with larger volume on February 6th, but since then we've actually had higher highs and higher lows. So ADA, a little bit more in recovery position than some of these other crypto names, though Cardano is still on its 3rd straight red day for what it's worth. Back to you.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that. Perfect. Just perfect.
That's what we need, eh?
Perfect.
You know how we have that He-Man
thing
right there, right? But we need a Street Fighter now, Joe.
Is that what that's from?
We're gonna need it. Oh yeah, of course. Every time you win you win without getting hit. Perfect.
Fired up. We'll hit this one. We'll hit this one there. Never was a big Street Fighter. I wasn't into Street. I was Mortal Kombat. I think Mortal Kombat was more or less my my thing there.
I don't mind Mortal Kombat, but you
Mortal Kombat.
don't have to talk crap about Street Fighter.
I'm not. I like. Hey, I'll shout out to Street Fighter. All right, guys. How do I give up on EMAT? Fully Fully.
Get it, Joey.
Completely. I think that's what he was getting at there. I'm not. Actually, I'm going to do it just because I'm already going down that path. I'm going to do it. It is the Tragically Hip. Fully. I could be totally wrong, but aside from that, guys, how do you give up on it? It's simple. Just kick it to the curb. All right. So, I mean, today is just the only down day. If you look at it from a daily perspective, you can see participants looking to get engaged really at that $8 mark, and then you almost get a 100% return from this breakout zone, 95 to be exact. So that's not bad whatsoever, right? So if you have some profits, I mean, you know what they say, you never go broke taking profit. Is it though? Was I right on that one? Fully. Oh, we have a massive American audience. They may not be big fans of the Tragically Hip. What a shame. We'll hit that one there on that one. And also, what a snooze fest the USA Sweden game is. We'll slap a fail on that one there. What a banger the Canada-Czechia game was, that's for sure. So we'll hit a bang.
Should we have had that much trouble, Joey? Like, I mean, I'm just really watching Czechia is that good, though?
Yeah, it's the matchup, right? Like, it's the matchup. You know how matchups make fights and stuff like that? Sometimes they just blow through, and it's just like the matchup they're willing to play. So, I mean, there goes the TQQQs as well, guys. So we took out 60% right here, and then a little bit less, actually, and then sure enough, we got stopped out about 40% or so, 45%. Right here on the break even, and then you get that sustained bounce. Walmart doesn't look like it wants to recover just yet. So we're gonna have to be patient and sit on our hands if we're gonna find somewhat of a bounce. It may not. I'm going to be counter-trending this one, so I really have to be precise on the entry, and we already took a couple big hits on it, but again, we're going to play the strikeout rule, 3 strikes I'm out. We had 1 on base, and then we cleared it on that one, so we'll be patient once again, and then we'll see if we can get involved in the TQQQs, if it's going to find a direction. We talk about this time and time again. When we're over these names, I mean, when we're trading the TQs, we want to keep an eye on what these boys are up to, what's Apple up to, what's Microsoft, and all the other lads. In the Mag 7, you can see Microsoft heading to the downside, Amazon starting to pull back. Google was trading pretty good, and then you've seen it start to come in a little bit as well, too. So Google and Tesla definitely the stronger out of the Mag, I think, today. A nice steady channel to the top side on Tesla. And then Meta, what have you been up to? Same thing on Meta. So maybe I thought we would be a little bit stronger here in the overall market. Doesn't seem to be the case. Broadcom, I know, is starting to pull back as well. You can see it heading towards some key support levels. Starting Streep's playing Street Fighter. Pull it up there, man.
Hold on, man. He's not letting me do the spin kick, man.
Who are you, Ryu?
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to get messed up. It's not letting me. I think I got to change the keys here, Joey. Yeah, there we go.
There you go. How do you remember the keys?
Get out of here, woman.
You're going to lose, man.
I'm going to lose. I know.
I got faith you're gonna win.
Oh no! I might get dizzy here. Hadouken.
Get it. One more time. Hit him with that the punch, man.
Yeah, it's super slow, bro. I'm not this slow. It's not responding that well at all. I'm gonna get murked here, Joey. Oh no!
Oh no! Hail on
I'm in positions too.
And he's in a position too. Savagery.
This is good.
So great time and get the game going there.
I got tattooed, Joey.
You got tattooed. So there it is. iBit not doing much either, guys. I think we're gonna see a little bit lower for some time here. I don't know. I'm not gonna. I told you guys the game plan on that one. 419 on CrowdStrike. We'll take that. How do we look on a daily? And are the banks responding today? Considering we're not really doing too much in the tech space aside from a select few, let's see what the boys are up to. And that's going to be JP Morgan. All right, not too bad of a day here in JPM, Sharif. Yesterday seemed solid, but there's some selling pressure stepping right back in. So we'll keep an eye on CrowdStrike, JPM, and Walmart. Those are my 3 picks this year. So I got my eyes on it. I got eyes on it, and I got 5 on it as well, too.
I got 5 on it. Michael, man, you're riling me up, Michael. I know you're doing this on purpose, brother.
Who, DeRider?
No, Mike P. DeRider's the OG. No, his name is Michael Baldwin 24. Michael, why, brother? Why? Arsenal dropped points again against one of the last place teams, Wolverhampton, a Birmingham team. Yeah, bro, we dropped points against Brentford. You could make the argument Brentford's good. They're a good team this year. They're a London rival, so it's a derby or whatever they say. But dude, Wolverhampton is bottom. Well, not exactly bottom, but they're low down there. They're in the relegation battle. And Arsenal just, I haven't seen Arsenal play this bad.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair to the players, I'm really annoyed by this, but dude, the conditions in Birmingham yesterday were ridiculous.
Rainy?
It was snow. It was 2 degrees.
Snowy.
The snow wasn't staying on the ground because it was 2. But I saw a style of play I don't think I've seen from this group of players. It was just pathetic. Pathetic is probably the right word to use. And now
it wasn't brilliant.
If City wins on the weekend, I forget when they play. I think on the weekend.
Yeah.
Now I think the point gap will be 1 point between them. Let me double check that.
We got a gold medal game today too.
We got a gold medal game. Okay, hold on, Joey. I want to finish this thought. 58 points for Arsenal, 53 for City. Hold on. And with City in a game in hand. So if they win, it'll be 56-52. We'll be 2 points ahead of them. And that is not comforting at all because we should be like 11 or 12
Adam
points.
James says the pitch was fine, bro. Stop with the excuses.
It wasn't fine. Anybody who watches the review can kind of know that that's not the case. But hey, they played on bad surface too.
Yeah,
so it's just we played bad. We played really bad. And the thing is too, I didn't even go to the gym yesterday. I at the gym at home because I went home to watch this.
Okay, so you got a little workout.
Yeah, but it's never the same, right? It's never the same, or the same intensity. And I was angry.
We got Canada USA women's hockey gold medal game coming up at 1:10 sharp.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
That's it. You're not going to cheer on Team Canada?
Oh, I don't care about that kind of stuff. No.
You're not a big Olympic hopeful?
No.
Really?
No. Like I don't even really watch the Olympics at all, brother. I mean, like, it's not for me.
Ooh, who hit that? Ooh.
I don't know. Neil, I guess. He's excited about Olympics. Me, I have only finite amount of time to watch Arsenal lose. So.
we wouldn't want us too much losing around these neck of the woods. Considering we are still slightly red here today, we'll hit the O Canada on that one. Never mind the USA stuff. You guys are probably going to win, but anything can happen. We'll give them a punch or shoot. Oh, you know who we got this weekend?
What do we got?
Barrios Garcia.
Oh, that's going to be really good. Yeah. Garcia looks in shape.
You think he looks good? He
looks like in shape. I don't know if he's ready to go or not.
Jamie Benn has Mario Barrios.
Seriously, eh?
I think more in the bag. I think Barrios has it, but it's the hook of Garcia.
Yeah, the left hand. Exactly.
Things, right?
But the thing is, like, I don't want to judge him based on his fight with Rolly because he had just been drinking and partying for a year, right? And so your body is going to pay the price of that. That was his first fight off
coming back from Spenny, right? From
the suspension, yes. And he was off doing
doing things. So let's see. That's going to be an interesting one. Looking forward to that one, guys. Ryan O'Day, I know you're the one who mentioned it and reminded me of that. But you can see, guys, the market failing to make any new highs here today, and we're starting to head towards some key support levels. It's buy the lows, sell the highs, essentially. So I'm glad that we got a little bit out right there. Give us some more breathing room to see if we can get some more opportunities in a rebound here in Walmart.
All right, I got into battle here at 69 as it's now in VWAP, but I don't like this trade. I'm out because it's just not. First of all, it's not finding that incremental or that instantaneous support you typically get when you drop into VWAP, and moreover, it's really unbroken in its downtrend. So I don't want to have to nurse this thing and worry all about it. And here's what I mean by that. Like, just look at this unbroken downtrend here on BATL. I'd feel a lot better if we break this trend and show that we're definitely looking to bounce off that VWAP by showing me some higher highs and higher lows. I think that's what I'll wait for here on BATL, but I don't like the look of it at the moment. I was looking for a VWAP dip trade where, in those cases where it touches VWAP, there's a whole lot of buy orders that are resting there, and it ends up shooting up, and I was going to scalp something. That was my thinking there, but I don't think that's the move anymore. I'm going to focus on CISS as it comes into 28s. I've got 24s on. We've built a position on this one. I'm looking for the range to reestablish itself. It's been trading towards the lower end of the range now for the better part of 5 or 10 minutes. And it's not really clearing that 30 penny area with any vigor or lately at all. So let's keep an eye out on that. And I'll just wet the beak here for what and giggles and see if we can take out some of these resting orders that I have a little bit higher than that. I don't see anything that I like at the moment, though, but I realize that KNRX started making a move back into the volume-weighted average price. I think it's still, suffering from that same affliction that BATL is suffering from, which is lower highs and that unbroken downtrend that we can kind of visually see there with the trend line. So KNRX, I'm going to leave this up on the side chart in case it changes its tune. I'd ideally like a move above 3, I mean, I'm not trying to say 3 is the end-all and be-all, but it is a psychological area of resistance. And if we can kind of move above that, I'll feel a lot better about who's in control of the price action. Separately, the OG Bovin was telling me about drama, DRMA. I'm going to take off MPT. The reason I didn't really say too much about this Bovin is, as you can see there on the chart, it's lightly traded, right? It's up nicely on the day, I believe 33.5%. So let's not crap on this one, but let me just put this on the side chart so it updates. It's sporadic in the volume that it comes in. Like, look at these bars here. They're doing 30,000 shares, 22, 16, 17, 13. You'll get the odd bar that does 100, 135, 88, but kind of low volume for drama. But we'll keep an eye out on this one. I think it is warranted here, given that it's up big and a lot closer to the highs than it is to the lows. Continuing to watch BATL here, so not really jumping off that volume weighted average price, but it is finding some support. So I could have made a little bit of money there, but I think that I'm going to wait for that trend line to break if it breaks at all. Did we get any prints here on CISS? Yeah, we got a couple of more. Not bad, but no continuation through 30. Zenzombie says Gren, Hangry Wife, or sorry, Zenzombie says Gern, G-E-R-N, not G-R-E-N. Let's take a look at G-E-R-N. All right, what do we got? G-E-R-N, Joey. Garon Corporation, light volume, brother. And it's down 0.5% on the day. Do you want me to look at the daily on this? Okay, the daily looks a lot better, right, than the intraday. Nice breakout there, holds $1 and holds it organically, mind you. Triple bottom at the $1, no reverse splits here. And then, moreover, it crosses the 50, it crosses the 200, and then look at this. Look how close the red line is getting to that blue line. That's a golden cross. Have we gotten the death cross? Yeah, we got the death cross. That was on January 1st of 25, so over a year ago. So that's not exactly zigging and zagging. So if we get that golden cross, this could be a nice one on the daily here. Let's look at the weekly. Let's see what we look like on the weekly. Yeah, very rangy here with obviously $1 as support. And for the most part, I want to say the resistance level is around $5, give or take. So it's not bad. What does this company do? Garon Corp, $1.25 billion, commercial stage biopharmaceutical company, develops first-in-class telomerase inhibitor, sure, for the treatment of adult patients with low to intermediate 1 risk myelodysplastic syndrome, lower risk MDS with transfusion dependent. Okay, so they're a biopharmaceutical company. That's all we need to know about them. Not bad. I mean, the daily looks better than the weekly, especially if you kind of focus on what I was saying there with the $1 hold and then a move into 2. And clearing the 200 and the 50. I hope that helps, and I hope you print up several storms on that, brother, if you're involved in it.
Absolutely. We got our boy Adam James checked out your San Salvador video last night as well too. Intriguing stuff. Check that one out.
Great time.
Yeah, this guy's living the life of Riley, man. Traveling South America and everything along those lines. I don't know what that means, living the life of Riley, but my grandparents always used to say it to me. So I'm gonna.
Been a Riley guy.
You lived a good life apparently, right? So there it is. Lemonade. So this is, let's take a look at LMND here. So typically what I do and what I've found. Oh, it's something out of my pocket. No, just my fob fell out of my pocket. So typically what it is, so I'm not gonna get too much into the report or anything along those lines, but what I found myself doing is when I read the report, you look into guidance and everything along those lines on how each individual segment is doing. You tend to typically hold a bias, right, Adam? It's like, hey, yeah, the report is great, but then you can see the street reflecting the total opposite. So it could be a guidance thing, something along those lines. But what I want to do, or what I have been doing is, I'll trade something, I'll just look at the price action, and then after I'm done trading it, regardless of win or lose, I will read the report after so I don't hold that heavy of a bias on the stock. It's like, oh, great numbers, we should be climbing higher, but yet the stock is tanking. So that's just a little trick that I personally do, and it works out. Obviously, it's trading, nothing works all the time. You can read the thing, but as long as you just go with what the price action is telling you, the street is always right. It doesn't matter what we think at the end of the day. So that's how I've been looking at certain things. LMND has been tanking, strong 5-minute opening range breakout to the downside in a continuation. You open up at $74, Shreve, and you're now trading at $61, right? And if the report's good, and it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense now, does it? Well, I 100% agree with you. Just try not to hold that bias. You can see that we're heading in towards some key support levels as well, right around this neck of the woods. This gap has been filled over the previous past couple of sessions. This is going to be a possible support system. You can see that it was acting as resistance. But with the strength and the momentum of this specific candle, I wouldn't be surprised if we do head into the middle of this range. All right, guys, so just keep that in mind. Here it is. Right into the middle of the supply zone, and if it doesn't turn around by then, I would look for that next stage and that next step lower, and that's going to be around that $45 mark. All right, so that's what we got going on. The TQs officially did break down, guys. It took some time. I mean, we really didn't even break the volume weighted average price until approximately 11:44. So a couple of hours after the open, a lot of chop and churn. The market's stuck in limbo, but now starting to find somewhat of a direction, heading right towards the opening price. But what I seen earlier this morning, I was like, ooh, maybe we could get a nice move up into 50. I know yesterday wasn't half bad from a trading perspective. Strong price action. But now we're right back to yesterday's OP essentially. Right, opening price, if you're not aware of what I'm getting at. Okay. And then sure enough, now we're really starting to pick up and the volume's slightly increasing as well too. So keep that in mind. And I feel that Walmart is starting to form somewhat of a base. So I have to be prepared for this just being a low breath. You can see the volume really starting to cool off as well too. So no buyers really engaging just yet. So I'm going to be keeping an eye out for any form of a liquidity grab south of this support level. Some indecision prints, buying pressure starting to step into the price action. And then we're going to take a little bit of a move to the top side. Same thing here with the TQQQs. Because we've been ebbing and flowing throughout the whole intraday session, I wouldn't be surprised if we come back into some prior resistance and support levels.
All right, Joey, I'm back into battle here. It did break trend, but it's at 5. That's the problem. So it breaks trend, but it's at a key level of psychological resistance and or support. I've got 5 on the dot. It's not clearing 5. I've given it to prior bar low. Let's see if it holds trend. I was telling people in the chat, you know, initially, just based on the price action and where it is at $5, it feels like it could be a bull trap here. It breaks the downtrend, and then it lures you in only to kind of make those area lows again. But hey, we've got 2 current candles now with higher lows. Let's see if it weasels on up. I've got a couple of orders there, as you can see on the screen, resting, waiting to print. 505 is one of them. It's not crossing 505. There's a seller of note. There it is. They killed him. Let's see if now we can move up. 507 showing up. Packing the patience. 8s, 9s. Let's see if the breakout continues here. 10s showing up. Wetting the beak here. Canceling that order above it, and now we're going to move that order a little bit higher. Let's see if we get the continuation. Doesn't look, you know, like we're going to get it as aggressively as one would hope, but BATL in focus. Now, CISS coming right back into the range. I'm feeling like there is selling here at the third of $1, a little bit below. Looks like there's a 30 seller of note, which is a bit of a problem. There's 2 topping tail candles that all reject, I think, high 20s, 28, 29, can't quite tell. In any event, they don't clear 30 on CISS. That could be trouble. I will pack the patience on that, but I already have my stop relative to the low of the bar at 1130. So that's my move there, and we're gonna see what we get. Won't get upset. Shout out to my man Neil. All right. Moved up the order into 15s, no clearing there on BATL, current bar high 11. So there was selling at 11, but I don't think we've decisively cleared 5. The good news is we're above 5 and we're above the 10 EMA. We held VWAP and we broken trend. So I mean, if I get bull trapped here, I've done everything right in my opinion, okay? I waited until the trend broke. I waited for VWAP to come in and get defended. I waited for the reclaiming of the 10 EMA. So, you know, I've checked all the boxes. So if I end up losing on this trade, I end up losing, but there's really nothing I can do about that. I think that I was quite disciplined with this battle. All right, seller at 12 now. There was a seller at 11, and now there's a seller at 12. So, you know, they're selling at every level, it looks like here. 547 high on BATL. Look at that, 12 seller, staunchy bugger, 13 now. Can we see some 14s? I'm waiting at 15s. We're not getting the continuation quite yet. Watching, let's see exactly how many shares are coming in at 13. There's really no size posted on the gateway, so we drop back down a little bit on that. Packing the patience. Let's see. What else? RELY, I weaseled into this one. I'm 5 pennies out of the money, in at 57, showing me 52s. This one looks like it's yeah, the downtrend is unbroken on this one as well. I think I may flatten this one out. Take the 6 penny loss here. Yeah, I'm flattening this one out. So we'll go 0 for 2, by the way, on RELY. This one, if I make one more mistake on this one, it loses its position on the side chart. We will not go 0 for 3 on that. And that's it. So now we're waiting on CISS and BATL. CISS a lot slower of a mover than BATL, so pack your patience on that. Fluffy, thank you. I appreciate you, Fluffy. Let's see. There goes BATL. Joseph taking out my order at 15. Current bar high, 16s. Looking for 17s. We got 18s now, Joey. Let's see.
You know what? I'll tell you.
Was that Assassino?
That was me, man.
That was you. All right.
You know, brother, I'm all over the stream deck, man. That's one thing. I'm at home and I'm like, dang. Oh, like I wish I had the bang button everywhere I go, and it would just boom, boom, boom.
It'd
That's where virtual reality would come into play. Imagine virtual reality or like some augmented reality.
That'd be
I guess. You're just like bang, bang, bang.
Yeah,
bang.
but only you can see it, my boy.
But it'd be cool if other people could see it too, like, like a holographic
share
or something
the AR.
like that, right?
Oh,
Right.
Share
what you got. So I have like a little projection screen, holographic and stuff out
now
there.
You're talking sense.
Bang, bang. Oh,
now
hey, don't steal my idea, guys.
Yo, man, it's out there. It's out there to be used, Joey. I'm sorry, my boy. You put it out there. We're having a good time. Yeah, there we go. Okay, guys, continuing to watch BATL over here. This is currently, okay, let me show you guys this on the black charts because it's looking very bullish. Look at this curl, right? Breaks the downtrend, bottoming tail candles into the volume weighted average price, and you get that trend change. You also clear 5. So I think this is the right move here, but you never know with these small cap gappers, they'll break your heart. So, you know, make sure you're kind of ready for that with stop placement and or right position sizing. That piece of crap RELY is back up into my entry. That's frustrating there. I should have let that one resolve, but hey. That's it, Joe. What do you got on your side, brother?
Same thing, guys. I literally, as soon as I post up there, it puts in this nice, strong candle to the top side. So we would have got involved. I mentioned what's forming a little bit of a base here on Walmart, and maybe we can find a potential rebound. Gaurav, I was looking for you, brother. I couldn't find you. You're long the TQQs at 48.75. Okay, I can get behind that. Just be cautious of this resistance zone. I told us about banging our head on this level right here. And that's going to be what was acting as support can now act as prior support can now act as resistance. By all means, I hope obviously that the trade works out for you. Base being formed there on Walmart. It's unfortunate. I'm still going to post up right there. I'm not going to remove that just in case we get any form of a pullback. Maybe we can catch a fill. HIMS, I think, is going to reject. Well, it has rejected the volume weighted average price and starting to come back in. Watch for this level to hold. If it breaches it, then maybe in the middle of it, and then you want to catch the lower end of things as well too. So keep an eye out on that. I want to get involved in Walmart here one more time. The TQQs was good to us, so we can get back to that later. Once the selling cools off, we're now pulling back to 48.80s. Let's see if we can break through the volume weighted average price, and this was just some form of liquidity grab with the momentum slowly upticking, and then sure enough, maybe boom, we can go off to the races, considering yesterday was a pretty solid session, and I'm looking for some continuation on that end, but here it is. Come back, come to Poppy here, Walmart, and see if we can get that one there. But yeah, pardon me.
Poppy,
yeah,
ain't no snitches,
you know what they say in Colombia, though, right?
What's that?
It's not Poppy in Colombia, it's Papacito.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You're setting me up. It's a song. Yeah, it's a song really, at the end of the day. But yeah, let's see if we can get this move here. We'll hit the stone cold on that one. Walmart only down about 1/10%, closer to a 1/5. Hey, our guy Adam James speaks pretty good Spanish, by the way.
Does he?
So, yeah,
well, given the amount of travel,
he's pretty much always there. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, other than that, guys, HIM's starting to breach that resistance zone, which is acting as support, and then we have the TQQs coming back in. What is Figma up to? Yeah, not doing too much there, guys. You can see out of the gate, it was relatively weak, and then it found somewhat of a rebound, heading right back towards the opening price, but now starting to come back in a little bit here. So we're posted up at a specific zone here on Walmart. Let's see if we can catch that one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I want to show where I got tickets, Joey. Look at this.
Say the band.
Tame Impala?
Tame and
T-A-M-E Impala.
Tame Impala.
Look where I got tickets. So look, you know how they do the stage, right? Like it's kind of like in the middle.
Yeah.
So all this area here, that's stand up only, no seats.
Okay.
And your boy got it right there.
You gotta
right there,
see.
row 2.
Bang.
Row 2. We did it live on the show yesterday, man. I'm pumped for this. July 25th. We're going to do it live.
Right in the summertime, too, right? In the summertime.
Right in the heart of summer, baby.
Summertime.
It's July 25th.
Yeah, that's a good time, man. Good times in the summer around these neck of the woods.
All right, I'm cruising for a bruise in here, but I'm getting back into RELY. It's breaking trend, man. I mean, what the hell am I supposed to do? It is breaking trend, so I have to go long. And I'm back long here on CISS. Stopped out VWAP retracement. We're wetting the beak. Multiple scalps already. Let's go ahead and set up some scalps possibly for this level. We'll see. We added nicely here. Let's see if we can get those. Sorry, guys. Just let me throw those orders out there. Now, the deal is this loses VWAP, I'm out. It's really simple, that simple. Let's throw in stops as well as profit takers here for RELY, since I have a bias that this one is broken trend. If I lose on RELY again, I will not trade it, because then I'll be 0 for 3 on it. So hopefully that does not happen. But RELY looks to me anyway like it is breaking trend. So you never really know. Above in, your drama is really making a move here. So shout out to you, my man. Back into the high of the day goes DRMA. It is that same area, though, that it's had resistance, $1.80, $1.81. So essentially 4/5 of a dollar. Good look here for drama above in, but I still think this one is not doing enough volume. $1.81, 4.48 million shares traded on the day at around 12 o'clock. So keep an eye out on this one. Not a bad look here, Bovin. Shout out to you, brother. I hope you're printing on that. And I'm involved in 3 trades. Hopefully we won't get stopped out of any of them before we get back. But it is now time. Drama's breaking out, guys. I have to cover this before we go to Neil. DRMA is going. So 187 high. It was just at 181. It looks like it's on the way to 2 here. DRMA is up 43.75%. But it is light on volume, and it does have a tendency to have outsized volume bars and then drops to do nothing for a little bit. So be on the lookout for that, and keep that in mind when you're trading it. We're going to take a break, Joey and I. We're going to send it to Adara at the big desk with Happening Now, and then Neil has his lesson of the day.
There may be some drama here in these small caps like DRMA, but not too much in the market. There's actually just a lot of chop. Nasdaq here pushing nicely here off the open, trying to make another breath higher here around 11:15, then pulling all the way back. Though this most recent 15-minute candle, the one we just closed, did have a nice bounce off of 602 with a slightly higher low. So again, a lot of chop and range bound action here for the market today. We'll take a look at IBIT. Crypto also kind of range bound, but I would say a little bit more directional than what we're seeing here, a little bit more consolidative and directional than what we're seeing with the Nasdaq. I want to talk here about U.S. President Trump, and I only say this because we know when he makes speeches, a lot of times the market does move, and I think given the emphasis on oil lately, it's absolutely worth noting. President Trump, 9 a.m. was at that Board of Peace event. It actually just finished. He just gavelled it out. So 3-hour event, that's now done. However, we're expecting him around 2 p.m. when he'll be visiting a local business in Rome, Georgia. Then at 3:30 p.m., he'll be visiting a factory also in Rome, Georgia. And at 4 p.m., he'll be delivering remarks on the economy in, you guessed it, Rome, Georgia. So lots more Trump talk on what he has been discussing Iran and the importance of making a deal with Iran. We know oil's, and to a much lesser extent the market, has been moving on that. So definitely something to be aware of. You guys know we'll cover all of that for you. Also worth being aware of, these earnings names, and there are so many. I do apologize. It'll be hard to get through all of them possibly in this segment, but I do want to mention John Deere, honorable mention. This is still near intraday highs, and it's doing quite well. A lot of these other earnings names had reactions that were kind of all over the place. Figma, initially gapping up, dropping off the open, though bouncing nicely off its lows. Etsy, relatively choppy here and range bound, moving within a dollar. Walmart, initially weak, then pushing higher, and now pulling back. So I think definitely in terms of directionality, John Deere did quite well. But CVNA, another interesting one to watch here as well, guys. Pushing up pre-market, then dropping a little bit here throughout the day. But speaking of earnings, I would be remiss if I did not mention Opendoor, which is reporting after the bell. Here's CEO Kaz Najarian of Opendoor, and formerly the COO of Shopify. This company actually beat revenue and revenue estimates. They slightly missed EPS last quarter, and their home purchases and home sales dropped sharply on a year-over-year basis. Their guidance does imply a decline for this current quarter. They're going to be reporting tonight, but it was above estimates. We'll have to wait and see how all of this shakes out here for OPEN. But in the meantime, we're not going to have to wait very long to find out how things shake out with Neil's lesson of the day. Neil, what's today's lesson, may I ask?
Thank you, Dara. I actually already had the theme of knew what I was going to talk about for the lesson, but then when Streef was talking about DRMA, I was like, oh, I can work this one into it. Why? Because anybody that knows the name Johnny Drama knows that some people just are who they are. They're going to say victory, and they're just going to cause problems. Like some people, it is what it is. But when somebody's telling you who they are constantly, you got to listen, right? It's not an excuse. You can't be surprised when someone is themselves and get angry when they display their normal behavior. And that's the same thing with the stock. And oftentimes, and not to look, first of all, I don't want to be that person because there's probably somebody long this stock and it's up 50%. But, you know, reverse split, trend down. How many times has this had more than one green day in a row or a big one? Only a few times, but usually big green day back down, big green day back down, big green day back down. Like pretty much every single time this has popped and had a significant green day, it is reversed the next day. It's telling you who it is. In the markets, when something is that, you know, I don't want to say obvious, but it is, what should you be looking for? If I was a trader of drama, I would be looking for the opportunity tomorrow's trade for a fade based on the price action. And it was actually HIMS that put me on this thought, because it's a bit of a choppy market. Like ultimately, shorts ended up working out. If you're able to find them out there, the market short eventually worked out, and Bitcoin was going to okay for a little bit. And there's things that eventually pulled back. But I'm going to point to something on HIMS. I'm going to zoom it in. This is a 15-minute chart. I'm going to zoom it right in. So HIMS, news in the morning, pre-market or gap up, right? So you want strong move in the pre-market going into the open. This is at 6:45. By the time we get to 9:30, it's already making a lower high. So early spike, it's already making tops before at the open, it's putting in lower highs and then dipping. Let's go to the last time this stock actually was, it tried to break out here. So technically this even, I wouldn't even count this day. It tries to break out the high at 9:30. It makes this high in the 9:30 candle on the 15-minute. If you go back, and I'm just going back to every single time that I see it, and this one doesn't even really count. It's here we go. Here's one where it's trying to make a big breakout. There's a fundamental move up, running in the pre-market. It makes its high. That's a 9:30 candle. Go back here again. This is the best move that it had to the upside, which is the day after it died. I wouldn't even necessarily think that's that successful, but here are the two that really stand out. Pre-market move like today. Pre-market move makes that high 9 o'clock. Again, pre-market move makes the high 9:30. Pre-market move up makes the high 9:45. So suffice to say, if this stock moves in the pre-market and has already made a high by the end of the opening range, you just look short, you stay short. Why? Because that's what it's telling you that it wants to do. So it did the pre-market move up, and then you can be short in the pre-market. It is what it is. But it makes that push, and even does one of my favorite setups. It's like, where is the resistance in the pre? There it is. It does a topping tail candle. It's a short there. It's a short at VWAP. Heck, it was a short again at the volume weighted average price if you happen to like it. Now, the thing about patterns is they're only as good, like they're only good for a certain number of times, right? Like how often is HIMS going to show that exact pattern where it makes a pre-market high on some kind of a news story or whatever the catalyst might be, and if it's not breaking out that high at 9:30, you short the first move, and then you just win for the rest of the day. I doubt that happens forever. That's not how markets work, and each time it happens, more people notice it, and it probably moves less, and all that kind of good stuff. But if you do happen across a pattern like that, there's something I like to say. That setup on HIMS is a short till it's not. We've seen things stair-step down before. We've seen them stair-step to the upside, or have a certain way in which they would trade to set upside. And you've got to take advantage of it. So it was a huge fail not to have been on HIMS. I saw it running, and the worst part about this was I literally said this exact same thing in the morning before when it was running up, and I think someone talked about HIMS, and I said more or less the same thing every single time. Look at this 15-minute chart. If it makes a high in the pre-market, you just find the first short and keep shorting it. But I don't have any executions on this. Zero. So now that it's happened a few times, will it happen again? You just got to be willing to go ahead and take it, because that's what trading is about. If you find something that's a positive expectancy, you win, lose, or draw. I heard Sharif say maybe 20 minutes ago, or at some point in the last half an hour, he made the comment of, I'm going to try this because this is the setup, and if it doesn't work, it just doesn't work. That's effectively what trading is. It's a boring way to put things, but it's along the lines of, that's the pattern, there's your pre-market high. Well, when it tries to go at the open, if I see it fail this first resistance level, significant resistance level, I'm just taking the back end of that trade because that's the pattern that worked. And that's what you do. You get in, you throw your stop, you know where your out's gonna be, you know what it means to be wrong, and win, lose, or draw, that is where the chips have to lie. So, obviously this was a missed opportunity to follow that pattern. If a stock wants to tell you what they are or how they act, then you gotta listen, whether it's a small cap, large cap. If there's a pattern that it follows, typically, and you see it as a positive expectancy, if you execute alongside of that pattern, then you just gotta go ahead and do it. Trying to fight it or turn it into something that it's not is usually not gonna work out. You don't wanna hope that it's gonna be different this time. You just wanna do what usually ends up working. I usually end this with telling you guys how the lunch is, but as you can see, I haven't even opened it up. For whatever reason, they've got that pesto whatever sauce or seasoning on the salmon, which is a bit weird. But we'll see how it works out. It's not what I would put on salmon, but I'll let you guys know how it is. Hopefully it's tasty, and hopefully your trades have been a little bit tasty so far. So back over to the midday, guys. Good luck on your trades. If someone is telling you who they are, you've got to listen.
Someone shows you who they are, you best believe them.
Yeah, otherwise you're kind of doing yourself a disservice there. Shout out to Neil, man.
Run into George Bush issues.
I like to wisdom embodied. You know what I mean? Like some people, can I say something to you?
Yeah.
I always went back and forth. Would you rate intelligence as more important than wisdom, or wisdom as more important than intelligence? Which one would you rate as greater in importance?
Well, I think wisdom is extremely important just due to the fact that there's a lot of, what's the word that I'm looking for? Scenarios. The experience, essentially, is what you've gone through. Intelligence can be hindered because you can be extremely biased to one direction and think that you know everything, which isn't the case. You just haven't been through enough life experiences.
And can I say one thing as well? I think with wisdom, discipline comes along with wisdom. If you truly have wisdom, you will have discipline.
Absolutely.
And I think that discipline outweighs intelligence. I've seen it in my own life. I've seen friends who, God bless them, are not that bright. They didn't do well in school. They're not bright in terms of like when you talk to them and engage with them. But guess what, bro? They got discipline up the yin-yang, and they've elevated their careers as a result.
It's like we say in sports as well, too, right? Like for me, I would rather pick the guy that works hard than the guy who's more skilled. The guy who's just continuously working hard opposed to the skilled individual, right? So just keep working. Exactly.
Yeah, that's just kind of my
It's like
observations,
like what Mike Tyson said. He said he doesn't believe in talent. He just believes in hard work and discipline.
But there's talent.
There's talent. There's absolutely talent.
Yeah.
But some people take advantage of it and they feel they don't need to work as hard because they don't.
That's
right.
The thing.
It comes natural to them.
Exactly.
And if they, so it's like Kobe. Kobe was a mixture of talent and hard work, and then that's why he was
the deadliest combination.
Right. Exactly. And he's like,
and intelligence. He's clearly smart.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Highly intelligent. Yeah. And he's like, if Shaq had the work ethic that I had, they would have won like every season. They would have won.
I did hear that. I remember that. I remember that specifically. Intelligence does not necessarily turn into wisdom. Absolutely accurate. TWX 4184. I agree completely. Just some weird life lessons one learns along the way. But you know what I'm going to say? There goes RELY into the high. We weren't going to get this one wrong again, man. We set up nicely 53 of what the beat there into the candle high, into 71, but I didn't take out 71. I got 70. Looking for a little bit more, man. Why are you laughing?
Look what Kyle F said.
Hold on. Kyle F?
Yeah.
Wait. Where's it at, Joey?
It's the one that's kind of like blurred out. I don't feel
blurred
like.
out. Oh, that one. I think Tom Lee's. Yeah. Well, I don't know, bro.
Yeah.
You know, some people on the spectrum are highly intelligent.
Highly intelligent. I look
So,
at the Sharif. Look where we are over now.
There you go. I know that's your favorite camera. I get that. I get that, Joseph.
You know what I mean?
Guys, I'm flattening out CISS. It's breaking trend, and it's looking like it's heading back down to VWAP. That ain't the move. I'm going to take the money that I have with it and run. So we're out of CISS now, and we really want to focus on RELY. It has broken trend, but the downtrend that is, but it's not exactly rocketing up back into highs. The OG Bovin letting me know that drama is at a very good entry point. DRMA, shout out to my man Bovin, AKA my other pair of eyes, and I do love that. So we're going long drama here, Bovin, and if I get stopped out, I'm going to send you a bill. No, I'm playing. Shout out to my man Bovin. We're in at 80s. Let's post some up here. What's the move, though? So VWAP and the 10 EMA at the 5 are basically at the same price. I'm going to give this to a little bit below the $0.75. I'm going to go ahead and set that up now. We have to give a little bit of room here because, the price action can develop in a way where, pardon me, you get stop hunted. Got 80s on, showing 82s, looking for the move above the, I'm looking for the move to stay above, 180, because that's actually a good resistance level, formerly resistance above in that 180 level. There were basically a double top there from at 10:45 and then again at 11:30. So I like what you're seeing there above, and shout out to you. Let's see if we can get the print showing 83s, looking for a move into 85s. Not readily apparent whether that's going to come or not. 84 is now showing up, Bovin. I'm going to need you to punch into a few 100,000 shares, my man, and boost this one to the high side. Shout out to the OG Bovin. Let's go back to RELY, back into 66 it goes. It has not broken trend, but it's not at the current bar high. Current bar high, as I mentioned earlier, 71s, showing 66s, looking for a move into 88s. This one did get an aggressive price spike up, and that's why you see all the red rectangles or triangles right there, Fabian, because I was taking all the prints pretty quickly. I had all the resting orders there. If we can, I see what you were doing there. I see. See, Fabian does things a little bit differently, so I couldn't see the fact that you had that in the corner of my eye. Shout out to you, my man. That's a good look. Good look, good look. Gurn, I mentioned this already, Zen Zombie. Gurn is just, it's not for me. It's too light in volume, but it is breaking back. I see that above. I don't want to trade this personally, but if anybody else wants to look at Gurn, you guys are more than welcome. It's a good-looking daily chart, as I've mentioned, but it just went green on the day. $1.94 is the break-even point. It's at 196, but as you can see there, kind of a rounded shape. Look out for that area high into $2, obviously a psychological area of resistance and support, so we're working our way into that, it looks like here. So the only trade that I've got, the only two trades, we got DRMA at 80, and that's not giving me the print, and we have RELY into 70 now. Let's see if we can get a price spike up and clear prior bar high. 71 is prior bar high, not clearing that quite yet. How we doing here? On drama, we got one print at 85s on drama, back into 84 it goes. And these are two bottoming tail candles, Bovin, at least the current candle is for the moment, the one previously already is. So buyers are picking this up at the 180, and that is good news because that 180 level was a resistance level. It's also generally the 10 EMA on the 5 and as well a little bit above VWAP, which is at 175. So we're keeping an eye on that. But there goes RELY into 77s. We get the print there. We're positive on this freaking name. It was my negative one. We're taking it out there, and now we're going to post above the high of the day, 1788. I'm going 95s. Come hell or high water. We're not stopping this one until we either get stopped out or we take up the 95s. We'll see which one comes first. Joseph.
See which one comes. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to catch this fill here on Walmart, guys, as it's continuing to climb higher. There's a nice support level being formed right here, so you can see this was resistance. We break higher, come back and retest that zone, and then now we're starting to climb a little bit back up into 127. We have multiple touches, go to a high of around 127.15 in this specific zone. So we'll keep an eye out on that one. I'm not going to chase it, but you might get this move back towards the volume-weighted average price. Excuse me, especially at this pace. Let's head back. Oh, okay, Gaurav, there you go, my brother. Take a look at the 15. Let's see what we got going on here. Ooh, lots of buying pressure. I see what you're looking at here now, brother. Good call out. I like that. I like our chances there for sure. A lot more telling of what we got going on, eliminating some of the noise and seeing what's really going on in the higher time frames. And sure enough, the higher the time frame, the more conviction you can have within that setup, in my opinion, the more likely it is to work. So yeah, some nice, a nice look there. There goes 127.09. There you go, Fabian. He's rocking around with this thing there. And then sure enough, we're getting a nice bounce up to 48.85 there in the TQQQs. HIMS didn't break down, came right into the middle of the zone, which we were talking about not too long ago, right? So you're holding the lower end of that, starting to get somewhat of a bounce right now. So keep an eye out on that. If we break and hold the volume-weighted average price on the TQQQs, maybe it's time to rock and roll and head back towards the top end of this range, especially if the 15-minute time frame is telling us we might head into that neck of the woods. So we'll keep an eye out on that with 10-minute time frame. Not doing too much, but eliminating some of the noise. We like it. Oh, Walmart. See, I posted up right here as soon as I'm like, oh, I love this base that was forming, and then off to the races there. So, yeah, that was a missed opportunity on my half. We would have been hitting some targets and taking some out, which would have been nice for our day, but that hasn't been the case. So we'll stay on the hunt. We'll stay on the prowl to see if we can find anything that we really, really enjoy right now. Let's go through our scan and see what we got going on. How are the big boys doing? Are they slowly starting to recover? Are they continuing on their trend? This is our scanner that we had on earlier in the day. KLAR, ooh, big gap down there. Klarna Group.
Yeah, so I was looking at that. Somebody said it in the chat.
Yeah,
like, what is this?
I wanted to short it today, but you have to order the shorts. By the time I got all that done, then the trade probably would have been gone without us. But let's head over to our watch list here, guys, and see what we got going on from that point. We'll take a look at Apple. Okay, still moving sideways. Not too much going on here. Microsoft. Not doing too much either, but a nice rebound, breaks through some of the support levels. Now starting to form a base on what we've seen is just a little bit 5 minutes after the opening price, so that's still that 10-minute opening auction level, holding up relatively well. Amazon, what have you been up to? That's Tesla heading back towards the high of the day, Sharif, so not too bad of a look on TSLA. NVDA, what is this this dog up to? Not too much, moving sideways. Again, just moving forward. What's Pandub? Pandub putting in a pretty good session here, now heading towards this pre-market zone. Remember, that might be right at the open. So I wouldn't be surprised at this pace if we go and retest that neck of the woods. If we go through the quantum names and we look at the daily, it's disastrous, so maybe we won't do that. We'll skip it and take a look at what Coinbase is up to. Haven't looked at Bitcoin much today either. I know someone was mentioning it not too long ago. Netflix back up to $77. Caterpillar remaining. How much, did you ask about Klarna there, Sharif?
No, I asked about BATL. Would you like me to ask?
No, it's okay. Yeah, I'm not going to. I think the trade's kind of already gone past us there. Walmart, see, tough. So I don't know how much of a rebound we're going to get. We're definitely not going to catch that fill at 126.13s at this point. It's now off to the races there. DoorDash is another one that I had on my list. Not too much of a rebound, but you have that massive gap up and you give the majority of that back, head back into the 5-minute time frame, and a slow recovery. You get about 40 to 45% of that regain, but now slowly starting to curl over there. JP Morgan, what are you doing? Let's see if you can break through that 308 level and climb a little bit higher for us today. Nice move there. 20 cents you got up, Gaurav, on the TQQQs as it's now breached the volume-weighted average price.
All right, DRMA is coming back into my entry. It is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 4 bars in a row, Bovin, that it's negative. Sorry, not negative. Well, yeah, putting in lower highs is kind of what I meant there on DRMA. I'm break even on it now. It's above VWAP, which is why I'm still entertaining the trade, but I'm not really motivated by, okay, so the day high of 198 got printed at 12 o'clock, okay? 12:05 candle, lower high. 12:10 candle, lower high. 12:15, lower high. 12:20, lower high. So that is, you know, we'll see. I'm gonna give it some time. I think that, you know, my stop is just close enough to my entry that it really wouldn't be all that damaging. But we'll pack the patience. Now, I looked over to Neil and I said, Neil, how much are shorts or locates, we'll call them that, of BATL going to cost me? Because here's what I'm starting to see here on BATL. Area high, lower high, and if this ends up, say, rejecting 5, maybe 4 mid-90s, high 90s, whatever, it'll be another lower high. All the while, yes, we are maintaining that same base. So this one could be a flat bottom break. And if it is, I want to be ready for it. Now, you don't have to get it on the initial flat bottom break. You can wait, not all the time, but you can sometimes wait for the flat bottom break to manifest, and then an upward move back into VWAP or whatever the flat bottom break area is, and that's where you go short. So you're looking for a retest of the support level, this time acting as resistance. That's my thinking on BATL. I don't have to execute in that way, but I am thinking of it as a possibility. Drama, I'm out, okay? We're gonna get out of this one. If it wants to retrend with some higher highs and higher lows, we'll entertain that. But for the moment, I'm gonna focus on RELY because that one is a lot closer to the highs and this looks awfully good. You know, that rounding pattern off the $0.50 and now we're into $0.75 looking for 4/5. So I put my next profit taker on RELY above day high. So by necessity, it will have to clear day high for me to get the print again, or I'll get stopped out. There isn't a whole lot going on right now though, guys. I do apologize. KNRX breaking down. BATL, it's not breaking down. It's above VWAP, but it does not look like an appetizing long. It's really only RELY, and that's the one I'm involved in. And here it comes into 80, so 88 high. CISS, I had to get out of that one because it did break trend. My bias on this one was an upward channel, and that ended up breaking. And so I'm no longer interested, quite frankly. And I'm not looking at picking this up off VWAP. I need to see something entirely different than what I'm seeing here to get back involved with CISS. That's it. ATOM is making a freaking move, though. It's making a move with very light volume. So this means to me that the shorts are not really targeting Atom today, maybe because it hasn't done all that much volume. On the day, it is at 3.17 million on a $6 name. I mean, this was doing much more yesterday. Look at the volume bars on the left side of the screen versus the volume bars on the right side of the screen. So we also have lower highs on Atom, by the way. So if you were to make this connection on a daily, it would be lower highs. But it made a move. Look, and if it can get above 630, then there is a possibility we squeeze into 7 into the day high, especially if we take out that day high. I think it'll be on a lot of people's radars, including myself. So here's the deal. We're going to throw in an alert a couple of pennies below the day high so we can kind of have advanced notice of this. And if Adam wants to make a move, I'll get back involved. And shout out to freaking Luis Barbado yesterday, man. You weren't even here yesterday, but look what when he came on at 1 o'clock. Okay, and Adam, let me zoom in so you can kind of see the whole thing. It was hanging out here. So he's like, I'm taking this short. He's like, basically, we're waiting for Adam to lose the bid. Yeah. I didn't say it at the time, but in my mind, I'm like, this is a VWAP bounce, right? I'm like, I'm thinking about going long. Boy, was I wrong. Look at the move below VWAP. That's
a nice one.
He took that entire thing down. He gave that to us in real time, by the way.
That's nice.
Yeah. So shout out to Luis Barbado, man. Thanks for obviously coming on. Guys, Luis is going to be on every Wednesday at 1 o'clock. He is a small cap gapper trader extraordinaire. The only difference is between him and I, he's a lot better, number one. Number two, he takes it short, whereas I go long. So if you're looking at, learning the ropes for the short side, you gotta be with us on Wednesday at 1 o'clock. And throw in those comments and questions for me anytime in the week, and I'll save them in a document, and we'll put them to Luis when he is on. So keep that in mind, guys. The offer remains open. BATL is dropping back down into VWAP here, and this is kind of what I'm looking for. The loss of VWAP for that short. We'll wait and see here on BATL. I'm going to take a shot at the short, and you guys know I haven't been shorting, and here it comes. It's losing VWAP. It's losing it in a hurry here into the $0.0002. Let's see if this one drops into the $0.50 and then comes back into VWAP for a retest of former support, now resistance. So I'm keeping an eye on this one, guys. I'm very interested in trying to take some of these short. We're going to go smaller share size, of course, as we learn the ropes, but I will be looking to diversify the game.
You ordered shorts just now, didn't you?
Yeah, Neil hooked me up.
On which name?
On BATL.
Let's see that bad boy.
That's right there.
Fire it up right now. You may as well throw a couple in.
You put in the orders?
Yeah, to the short side. I think. What do you
Yeah,
think?
well, I'm waiting. I'm
look,
waiting.
Okay,
yeah.
so
yeah.
go. Can you do like a comparison to yesterday, the one that he was talking about on ATOM?
Yeah, on ATOM, yeah, of course, yeah.
So you go
That
to
right
yesterday.
there.
Yeah, okay. So
let me zoom in. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so you get that move higher, and then you have that consolidation, and then eventually you get that cross. Head back over to BATL.
Yep. It's a little different of a look, though. It's lower, high, flat bottom, though.
Flat bottom, right? If that
exactly,
breaks, I like your chances of a continuation to that next zone there, maybe to the short side.
I was thinking 4 1/3, Joey. There seems to be some support at 4 1/3.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So let's keep an eye on ATOM there. Yeah, I like that one 100%.
Shout out to Wyatt. He's shorting. Shout out to Hang Your Wife, Live Your Wife Back, Hang Your Wife. All the love sending from me and Joey, by the way. David the Red, Sharif. SO reported today. Call is at 1 Eastern. I'm targeting 92 on this. Say less, my man.
Walmart.
Tell him, Joey. SO, let's have a look. Southern to Southern. Okay, what do we got over here? Energy provider. I didn't actually know about this company, guys. Okay, I probably should know. It's a $103 billion market cap. I didn't know about this. Okay, so it's an energy company. Provider owns three traditional electricity operating companies: Southern Power Company, Southern Company Gas. The traditional operating companies: Alabama Power, Georgia Power, Mississippi Power. So Elon must be dealing with these guys with his little data center there in Memphis. No, that's Tennessee. What am I saying? This is Mississippi. All right, let's go to the daily. Kind of consolidated, I want to say, for the better part of a year and a half, though, wouldn't you say? You know, you get up into that 90, mid-90s range back in middle of 24. Yeah, you had a nice move, I want to say, in October into above 100, and then all hell broke loose to the downside into about mid-80s. This is not that bad, though. This is not that bad at all, and that it's been riding a decent trend. Man, these utility companies, energy companies, this is like the alternative AI play, man. If you guys want to stay away from chips and all that good stuff, the energy companies are definitely something to look at. And it's breaking above this upward channel that it's been in. So shout out to David the Red. Not a bad look there. I have to start, you know, a utilities, energy company watch list. I don't have too many of those on my proprietary watch list on the side, so something I should definitely be doing. Joey, I'm going to send it to you, brother, because we might start to short here.
On BATL?
Yeah, I'm going to be looking to short into 5. So I'm going to start a position here.
All right, let's go.
And I'm going to be looking to defend into 5. It loses 5, I'm out.
Expanding the good old playbook right there. That's what we like to see. I'm thinking about the same thing here potentially on Walmart, but we have an uptrend, and if we break it and head on to the backside of this, maybe we'll get a little bit of a small curl over. One thing that I'm noticing is that on the volume by time, really cool to the top side, and I feel that can give an opportunity for sellers to step right in, but we want to wait for this trend to be broken, and then a potential retest of it, and then we can engage for that potential try. Yeah, 48.82. There's a little bit of an inverted hammer on the 1 minute and on the 5 minute here, Grub. What I was looking at for a potential short side play on the TQQQ. So we'll keep an eye out on that one. We got a super chat here from our boy. The market is bad for my health. I can't get anything right at the moment. I don't short. I'm going to take a break and re-collaborate for now. God bless. Oh, that's
God bless you, brother.
Hey, man, I know you're somewhere warm, so you're in the right place. Don't let it chew you up too much. We know it can do that for sure. But that's just the nature of the beast. So yeah, have fun, enjoy what you have outside the nature. Guess what? The market will be here tomorrow, be here the next day, and will be here long after we are all gone. So don't feel like you're missing out on anything there, guys. Yeah, good idea. If things aren't going your way, just step away, take a breath, take a step. It's a lot easier said than done. And there goes the trend break on Walmart here. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that one. Thank you very much, Adam, for that super chat.
Adam.
Once again, enjoy it. I enjoy watching your videos. Keep posting those bad boys. Did you? Oh yeah, you never.
He's on the gram. I got him on the gram.
You got him on the gram. Yeah, San Salvador. He was in El Salvador, which was cleaned up.
Him and the wifey, man, they're cleaning up there, bro.
On the gram.
On their trip.
Oh yeah.
They're everywhere.
I mean, dude, he was gone like the whole winter. He's just always there. He's very, not really, I'm not going to call you a nomad or a digital nomad, but it feels like you're getting really close to that realm there, my friend. All right, Walmart, guys, keep an eye out on this one. If it breaks this pivot at 1247.50, then we might have to get out of Dodge, or this trade might not really come into play. So we're waiting for the retest of the backside of this trend, and then we're going to look for some other opportunities. The TQQQs, could this be a breath before we take an additional leg lower? So we'll wait for a retest. Essentially, what I'm getting at, if we fail to establish a new high right here and price slowly starts to curl over, might engage to the downside. What I'm seeing on the 5-minute time frame, I'm not absolutely in love with the long. Want to participate. FIG is breaking out. We like that one. CVNA, someone mentioned that not too long ago as well, saying, yeah, the shorts are really printing. We talked about that short report not too long ago, and I think it's really, really in play. You got to take into consideration, we're 33% off of those highs, right? So this is a really nice play. I forget who it was, but someone did there was an interview, we're not going to mention the name or anything like this, but this guy, he literally shot, so the SEC did an investigation into him because he's like, hey, I have 100% accuracy, but he would do short reports on his own, and he like traveled to some of the countries and stuff like that to see what's going on with the actual companies.
Did his own investigations.
It did his own investigations and released these short reports.
Dang.
And the SEC did an investigation because he's like, there's no way that you have 100% accuracy. And apparently he was telling the truth on everything. Yeah, did everything. Wouldn't even trade, just release his own short reports. Very interesting stuff.
Very interesting.
Yeah, so
there goes BATL. We actually took, yes, Joey. Yes, Joey. All right. The shorts are paying off. Now it's going to rocket up and I'm going to get killed.
Now you're suckered in.
I know, right? All right. Let's throw some below the $0.50 there. Sorry to get excited, but it's not every day. You know, we take these small cap gappers short. My hands were sweating. No, I'm playing. I didn't really care all that much.
There goes the...
Looking for that. There's a buyer at 55, guys. Now buy into 54 we go. Current bar low on BATL is, pardon me, how is it telling me 68, bro? Oh, God, this thing's... All right, showing the $0.50. There's buying coming in at the $0.50 here. Looking for a move south of the $0.50. 51 showing up. 50s. We got 67s. We're going to wet the beak here. Let's cancel that order below it. It's going to go farther below now into the third of a dollar. Looking for the move south of the $0.50. Now, if this loses the $0.50, I got a bias here, and my bias was that this loses the bid here by a bit and then comes back up to test the volume weighted average price as that former area of support now as resistance, as the Jacobin would say. 470, 475 is where I see VWAP at, just a little bit below 470. So that's the area that I'd be looking for a retest. So going to pack the patience there. I don't know why it says I don't have any positions on RELY, but that's fine, or on BATL. That's fine. We're going to keep an eye out on this one. Hangry Wife, how do you buy short allocates? I look over to Neil. Neil gets it for me, guys.
Knock him out.
No, so the way it works is the floor managers are the ones that have access to get you locates, right? So our floor managers on the show are Brendo, Neil, and Sean, obviously. So one of those individuals has to get the shorts for us, right? And that's kind of the way it works on a prop floor. There has to be some, obviously, controls. And so that's
how much did those cost you?
$1 something.
Oh, okay, that's not bad.
It's not bad. Yeah, so we've got them, and we're going to be looking to test it again. Should it come back into that 470 area, we'll keep an eye out on that. I said very little, by the way, guys, about RELY. We're in at 54s, showing 67s. I'm trying to pack the patience here and seeing, can RELY get above 1770? If it can, I'm going to add, okay? So it's showing me 67s now. I'm going to, prior bar high was 70s. So let's go ahead and throw in an order there above that level, and I'll be looking to add a little bit on this one. Yeah, that's what we'll do, and we'll look to possibly test that 1788 high a day. That's what I'm looking there. Yeah, look, IB, hangry, it's just not good for that. Number one, I don't know what it is in the States, but in Canada, if you want locates, you got to order $10,000 worth. Otherwise, they don't do locates, right? That's number one. Number two, oh, here we go. It broke away without me. Jeez Louise, man. For real? I gave it a spread. All right, we're going to have to chase it now. So I added into RELY. I didn't get the price that I wanted, which is fine. Because there was illiquidity there. So let's cancel that and let's put it a little bit above. I want to say at 79, and then we're going to look to take out some a little bit below the high of the day, which is 88s. Right, so we're going to look for 85. So yeah, what I was saying about IB, you got to order $10,000 worth of shorts in order to kind of do that whole locate thing, and then otherwise you can't do anything about it. And here's how you can tell if it's shortable or not. What I do is I just look on my scanner and I added a column on the scanner. If it's dark green, it's not shortable. If it's lime green like that, it is shortable. And most of the time it is dark green, meaning that it's not shortable. So that's my look there. Joey, what do you got?
Good stuff there. Oh, Mike Peter Ryder. All right, so yeah, there's that backside trade right here on WMT, starting to head a little bit lower there, guys. So that trend line broke, and then now you're on the opposite side of it. Gonna keep an eye out on that. FIG had some nice indecision prints. We have TQQQs was looking to get involved on this to the short side. So we'll wait for one more retest, maybe of the volume weighted average price, or if it wants to go off to the races, and it's going to be without me. So a little bit of hesitation here on my front after taking a couple of those losses. So let's just get back in and start pulling triggers on some good potential trades. We don't want to chase anything right now. So one more pullback, which I'm sure we're going to get on the TQQQs, we're going to engage the short side, and maybe even in Walmart as well. So if we get a retest of this zone and then slowly start to curl back around, let's get involved in some shorts here, because I think that's the direction that the market is heading. So yeah, no diet soda. We don't even drink that get that garbage out of here.
What?
Diet soda?
Diet soda?
Yeah, we don't
That's
drink
great.
that. Yeah.
You don't drink Coke Zero?
No.
No, I have Coke Zero from time to time, but not often.
Dude, if I'm going to have a pop, I'm just going to have a straight up. I'm just going to go with the sugar. Lots of sugar, man. But that's not, I don't drink it every day. Like, I think I have probably a pop or soda, as the Americans would like it called, soda, probably maybe once a month or every other month, really, to be honest.
Barely, that's
and you
nothing.
see me when I drink my cranberry juice, I dilute that sucker and pour it all up into there, right?
Yeah,
so it gets a little bit more H2O in there.
But...
So we're waiting for this, guys, and then we're going to engage to the short side here on the TQQQs. I don't want to get in too early because I think we're going to see a pullback. We're getting that pullback in Walmart right now. Coke Zero is Jets #1. All right, good. Cranberry juice for the, I mean, Hangry Wife. We're not going to repeat what you just said there, but sure. I like the flavor of it, to be honest.
I like Hangry Wife.
Yeah,
bro.
I like Hangry Wife too. Very, it's always loving, very loving individual. So let's get involved here, guys, on the short side here in the TQQQs. I'm going to have to use this previous pivot, so we'll have to give it about 35 cents or so to prove that we're wrong. Just going to have to take it for what it is. We'll start not as this initial size that we had to the long side, considering waiting for this nice little bounce to see if we can catch the top end of the range on this. Let me pull it up for you guys so you can see what I'm getting at here, instead of me just having it on my side chart and then you guys be like, what is this guy doing? So here it is. All right, testing that 80 level. We got 48 and a quarter, 48. Okay, there it is. You're starting to run into some zones that I like. Any form of a rejection, we're getting involved, and I think we just experienced that right now. An aggressive move to the downside. The market delay on these IBKR charts are absolutely horrendous. You want to always keep an eye out on the tape, right? The tape will never tell, and market latency is huge. Milliseconds is extremely important on your platform. If it's too much, then you're getting a delay. None of us want that, okay? Rejected. All right, cool. Rejection. Let's try this one more time here, Sharif, to see if we can get involved. There it is. So let's see if we're going to hold on this and head a little bit lower on the TQQQs. Let's rock and roll.
Let's rock and roll, baby. Trying to get back into battle here. So as I mentioned, I have a bit of a bias that this one does come back up and test the volume weighted average price. So entry level position here at 46 is we're 3 pennies out of the money. But as you can see, the purple lines, and you probably haven't seen those often on my charts because I rarely short, those are basically DCAs. I'm looking at getting more into my level that I've spoken about. That's my bias. That volume weighted average price will be a resistance level, formerly support, of course. So that's what I'm thinking about that one, to be quite honest there. RELY, I've moved up my stop with this one. It topping tailed into 75. I don't know what the hell this one's doing. Look, it's putting an uptrend. It is putting in an uptrend, but it's not very clean. So I don't really want to, paper hand this trade. So I've given it to 1230 candle prior bar low, the low of which is 61. So that'll be my new look there. The Omega Star wants to know if there is news with Netflix. I couldn't tag Adara. Netflix has ample room to increase. I don't see anything. other than, just some comments here from Warner Brothers. Exclusive Netflix has ample room to increase offer in bidding war for Warner Brothers, sources say. That came in at 1239. That is it, so she's saying. So Benzinga, Netflix has ample room to increase offer in bidding war for Warner Brothers, sources say. This is a Reuters exclusive. It's being reported by Reuters. She's looking more into it. What's wrong, Neil? Now, WBD is moving. Neil's looking at WBD. It is on the move, guys. You need to be alive to Netflix and Warner Brothers as that price action is developing. Here is the Netflix move. That's a flat bottom break. It is recovering a little bit, but you know how I feel about Netflix, obviously. We are going to look at WBD, and then we're going to send it to Adara. Big move up on WBD, but retracing back down. What more can you tell us, Adara?
Wow.
So looking for the full article here, but yeah, I think this is an interesting look because the only stock that in any way moved higher off of this was Warner Brothers, right? At least briefly. Both Paramount, Skydance, and Netflix moving lower. PSKY continuing to push here into low of day. Netflix bouncing a little bit off this low of day. Again, this headline, at least to me, and again, with not being able to see this full article and not even a link to said article as of yet, basically just sounds like Netflix willing to potentially increase its offer, PSKY, and bad look for PSKY, but also for those who are hoping Netflix doesn't win this deal, they now are saddled with having to finance and pay for this other property, could be a bad look for NFLX as well. So again, the only stock as of right now that seems to look good for is Warner Brothers because it implies whoever's going to acquire them is likely to pay a little bit more than these prior prices we've seen being brought up for Netflix. It's about $27.75 a share, at least as of the most recent deal we actually have in front of us. And then for PSKY, it's $30 a share. So if I get more details, I'll keep you posted. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we'll keep you guys posted. Anything that comes in on the wire, we've got Adara at the big desk. I'll be able to look at the blotter, so hopefully we'll keep you guys apprised. And yeah, I'm not going to trade it, obviously, but we'll give you guys the news. And if it's tradable for you, have at it, baby. All right, we got a little bit more there on BATL, looking at building the position into $0.75, Joey. So I'm trying to pack the patience. What are you looking over there? Brother?
I'm in Walmart, just getting absolutely. This thing's beating me to a pulp on today's intraday session here. It's up, it's down, it's around. We tried going long, tried going short, and this thing just. We're not in sync with it. It's really, really chopping me up here on today's session. So after this, guys, we're talking about 3 strikes at the plate. We're going to have to get out of this name if it continues to break through some of these resistance zones and climb a little bit higher. We'll get out earlier than when we're supposed to and just find something else to trade here if Walmart doesn't want to continue its slide. I mean, we're talking about being on the backside of the trend, but this rebound seems relatively strong, and I'm not liking the way it looks. As soon as we get involved, you get that nice, strong move and these breaths within. Anyways, aside from that, let's keep an eye on what we got going on from Walmart and see what we got going on. Past couple of sessions haven't been going in my favor. We had a strong start. There it is. All right, let's get out of Walmart here, guys. Not giving it too much room. If it does continue to come back in, then maybe we'll like it a little bit more. But I'm not going to say it's not cooperating. I'm just not in sync with this. So whoever's been able to capitalize on Walmart trades here, congratulations to you, because I have not. But one thing that is slowly starting to work for us here is the TQQQ. Not too bad of a look whatsoever. I do like what we have going on here on Netflix, right? Strong volume on the lower time frame. So if this pullback volume stays relatively subdued, then I like our chances of maybe a continuation to the top side. And this is what I'm talking about, not engaging until we're on the opposite side of this trend here. It's the exact same thing, whether it be intraday standpoint or whatever it may be. So keep an eye out on that. We'll head over to the 5 minute to see what we're printing over there. Massive volume. This is going to be the largest print. This is even bigger than what we experienced out of the opening drive there, guys. So keep an eye out on NFLX in case it gets a rebound and break through some of the volume, or breaks through the volume weighted average price. So come on, Walmart, man, cooperate. It's not. I can't even say the Nosy boys because it's not on it anymore. It's on the NQ, Sharif. So we can't.
Yeah, that's right.
No one else to blame here than yourself. Sucks, me, bro. But also it sucks to suck, and that's what I typically like to say as Walmart is doing its own thing. But a nice little move to the downside. Let's see if we can test the low of the day on the TQQQs. That would be a nice target for us. Where are we in at on TU76? That'll bring us into 50s. Small potatoes, man. We want to wait for the 40s. So, yeah, let's be patient and see if we can get these trades to start working out for us. Keeping my eyes on Netflix. If it wants, I like that signal. Okay, yeah, that's it. I'm going long flake here. Let's see what we can get out of that one. I know my boy Gorev is in Netflix as well, too. So we'll keep an eye out on that one. Sell Walmart, even though I love you. I do want you to head a little bit lower, and that's okay. You can have a mixed relationship. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever on how you feel about certain things at certain times, okay? So let's get involved here. Join you on the journey. I'm trying to, if I could get the bloody ticker in here, Sharif.
Oh!
All right, let's get involved here on some flakes and see if we can get this move to be continued. I'm going to go small, right, considering I'm already in a couple of positions, but what is really starting to cook for us is the TQQQs. All right, let's go flakes.
Bovin, drama is making a move here, Bovin.
Not good, Gorev.
Pardon me?
No, I'm just commentating my position right now, essentially.
Okay. Drama is making a move, Bovin. Yeah, and he's pumped about that because he was telling me about it. Great move on that one, Bovin. I'm keeping an eye out on it. I'm almost out of RELY. If it dips below 60, I'm gonzino. But I'm looking at DRMA. I'm looking for a move bluff too, guys, because 198 high. Just before we go to Adara, guys, I want to bring your attention to a sub $1 name. Thanks for the chat for pointing this out. I see an upward channel of sorts here, traded as such until it breaks out. AGAE up 80%, but just barely above $1, 58.88 high. We're going to keep an eye out on this one. Let's go to Adara.
Yeah, I just want to mention here this NFLX. I looked into this. I still can't find the Reuters article, which is kind of odd. And even when I look on social media, I don't have any context for it beyond that one headline, which is only being shared by a few sources I follow. Now, again, for NFLX, as I kind of mentioned here, it really seems like the sentiment on this, which is causing the stock to drop, is the idea that shareholders really don't want this deal to go through. So any idea that Netflix could be willing to raise the price to try to swoop WBD out from PSKY, not going to necessarily be viewed in a positive light. If I do ever find that story, which I am still actively looking for, I'll keep you posted. But very odd that I haven't seen it yet on Google. I do want to mention as well here, before I send you back over to Sharif and Joe for more trading action, JP Morgan's trading desk weighing in on the potential reactions here and outcomes of the Supreme Court tariff ruling, which we could potentially be getting tomorrow. We know the Supreme Court is set to have a decision date tomorrow. So according to this JP Morgan trading desk that's just coming out now, they're seeing a 64% chance that tariffs are struck down and immediately replaced. You'll likely get a slight rise in the S&P 500, though it'll probably spike higher. 26% chance they see of tariffs being upheld, with a slight drop in that case in the S&P 500. They see 9% chance of tariffs being struck down much later after the midterms, and then you've got an increase in the SPY with an outperformance in the IWM. They also see a 1% chance of the tariffs being struck down with no replacement, and then you're going to get basically the same outcome as if they're struck down in general with the SPY and Russell trading higher. I just want to let you guys know this is what the JP Morgan trading desk is doing, though again, largest outcome in their chance here, 64% chance we do get a strike down, an immediate replacement of these tariffs. Back to you.
You got that up there.
Here
Before we go to that, let's take a look at, we got the TQQQs. Finally, something really working in our favor here, guys. We'll take that all day, every day. I took off 30%. I better learn my lesson and take a little bit more off of this trade here, as Netflix is starting to find somewhat of a bounce, guys. So I'm gonna leave 30% on. That's it. That's all I really care. Boom. We caught that fill. Not worried about that now whatsoever. Let's see if we can get Walmart and Netflix to slowly start working for us. Netflix starting to climb. If it really starts to cook up, I'm going to add substantially to this trade, because if it's starting to work, we want to make these winners as big as we possibly can right now. I'm glad on that little move to the downside. Patience is key. We waited for those retests there at specific zones. Now, Walmart and NFLX, we're all in the NQ right now, so we don't got to do too much typing around, which can obviously send massive delays. If we break 40s, I'm at a dodge here on Netflix.
And here's what Polymarket is saying. They're saying there's a 26% chance that the Supreme Court rules in favor of Trump's tariffs, so that's quite low. And there's some good betting odds here, man. I might throw some money at this.
Have you been on this thing since I mentioned it?
No,
I mean, were you on it before I mentioned it the other day?
Yeah, we did it yesterday for WBD and Netflix. That's what I was trying to tell you.
No, but I'm saying before. Remember when I brought it up like last week or a couple weeks ago?
No, I did it because of you, because you keep mentioning it, so it was in my mind, right? How many Supreme Court justices know? So will the Supreme Court rule in favor of the tariffs? Again, Kalshi, decidedly no. 25.9% chance that they rule in favor. So look at the opposite of that, obviously. That's really interesting because my understanding was that the longer they delayed the ruling, the more likelihood that they would be upheld because of the urgency, the economic urgency of letting countries know where they stand, as well as the money being collected, which puts the U.S. Treasury in a further deficit. But that's clearly not what's being looked at by the market. This is pretty one-sided. 26 on poly market and 25.9. So essentially identical. Very interesting there. We'll have to wait and see. Of course, that is going to be one of the bigger decisions I think that the court will rule on in quite some time. So I'm still in BATL over here, still building my short. It's still below VWAP. It looks like, it's right above the $0.5. I'm waiting for a test of VWAP. If it really clears VWAP, I'm out, right? But I really want to start looking at AGAE. Again, bit of a disinclination to trade these small cap gappers that are under $1, but this one looks fantastic. My honest opinion, though, is I want to build it towards the lower end of the range. It has this propensity, look at this, like a wave. Up into a high, right back down. Up into a high, back down. Almost looks like it's oscillating, like a sound oscillation. So if that's going to be the case, why would I look for a breakout above the trend line? So I want to set up something at around 51, 50, 48, 47. Look to build towards that volume weighted average price, which is currently at 46, with a view to obviously taking this possibly into the high day at around 58.88. So that's AGAE, up about 80.5% give or take, but it is trading at 58 pennies. Let me put that we got it up here. So let's go ahead and throw some orders here.
Get out of there.
You're going to get out of Netflix?
Yeah, I'm out of Netflix because if this pullback's a little bit deeper than what I'm expecting, I think I can get somewhat of a better price. Okay, so if this breaks, then and we form any more indecisions off of these lows, I'm glad that we only took like a 12-cent hit on that one. If it climbs, then whatever, that's fine. But also, I'm going to put my money where essentially we can get a better price at 77.30s in the hold of this wick low. So I don't think we're going to break. Why? Because we have that substantial volume stepping in. We consistently talk about effort and result, and we had that strong volume coming in, so a lot of effort and not much of a result. So I want to go with the flow and where the volume is and the support levels holding. So if we get a little bit of a break here, a liquidity grab, I like our chances a little bit more here on NFLX. I could get out a little bit. I could be out prematurely. That's not too good of a look, but that's fine. We were small in size, and if we hold once again, I'm going to add substantially to that position. We got an additional low here established on the TQQQs. We like that one. Walmart's slowly starting to work for us as well. So we're in the right place right now, and we're slowly just a chip and a freaking chair, Sharif, is all we need essentially. Sometimes. So a nice little move, guys. Walmart breakdown. You son of a gun, and let's see if we can get this these targets that we want to hit. 126.50 going to be ideal for me, even though that's not too much. We'll trim some off in case there's any form of a rebound, but I like what we got going on so far.
All right, man. Bubin's saying that OSS is moving up. I do see that, Bubin. Let's have a quick look there at OSS. Hold on. Let me look at my battle position here because we just added into that. So let's go ahead and take some profit here. Let's throw that on there. Good call out there, Bubin. It's not rocketing up, but it's not a bad look either. This is OSS. It's up a healthy 20 2/3. One-stop systems. It does meet the small cap market cap requirement of 246. What is going on, Joey? OSS. This is the look here. Very light in terms of volume in the pre, but the volume did come in right at 930. It's still a little bit light, it's doing about, 12,000, 6,000, 7,000, 4,000, 21,000 shares per 5-minute candle, but it's not a bad trade. I'm going to keep my eye out on this, Bubin. If it sets up a little bit towards the volume weighted average price around 975, I'm game, but I'm also alive to the fact that it's putting in lower highs as well. So from that area top, a bit of a lower high, but it's above $10. So trying to fight here with that resistance level. Is that you, Fabian?
Yeah, Fabian typically does the test.
Yeah.
All right, Walmart, there we go. Finally getting this sucker to work for us. Nice little move there to the downside on Walmart. And this is what I'm talking about, support levels being broken here on Netflix. I think there's going to be another opportunity to engage. I have to watch out on the 1-minute time frame to see what kind of print we're going to get here on Walmart. And the same thing with flakes. So let's head over to Walmart. We finally took some off. If it comes back to my break even, what did I take off? 33% there. Boom. I like that look. Hold 66 for a bit of a bigger move. If we do come back a little bit much, maybe we do a little bit of a trailing stop and get out when we're supposed to. So keeping our eyes on these names. Keeping our eye on Netflix. We're still forming these indecision prints, but one thing that I'm gonna note here, guys, is look at this downtrend. I gotta keep my eye on Flakes, or on Walmart, just in case it wants to rebound aggressively, which it seems to be doing right now. A lot of ebbs and flow in this thing, right? So I'm not in love with that, but the more prints like this on the 5-minute, one thing that we have to keep an eye out on here, Gorev, is this, right? We're trying to counter trend right now. We're on the backside of it, then it's rockets engage on this bad boy here on Netflix. If it doesn't, then these signals might fail, and we have to be able to live with that, which I'm sure we will, and we'll just look for that next opportunity. So Walmart's slowly working for us. A new new pivot low. We're going to take another 33% off. If not, we get stopped out break even, so be it. But it looks like the TQQQs are going to put in a new low of the day as well. So what are you doing? What are you doing, Walmart? Let's keep an eye on this thing, because it's getting really close to our break even stop, and we're going to have to get out, but we took a nice little piece out at 45s. Not too bad of a look whatsoever. So if we can establish a new low, we're piecing some more out, another 30%. Let's head back over to the TQQQs and see what these bad boys are up to, as it looks like we're going to breach into a new low of the day. So a nice little move to the downside here on the T-trips. Let's take a look over here and take some more off, because why not, right? We're just going to lock in these profits.
All right, I got the news here. I got the news on Flakes.
Okay.
So here we go. I'm going to read this out to you guys. Let's zoom in. So Netflix has ample cash and could raise its offer for Warner Brothers Discovery WBD if competing bidder Paramount Skydance increases its own bid. Reuters' Amy Jo Crowley and Milana Vin report, citing two people with knowledge of the matter. The two media firms continue to compete. Warner Brothers and its legacy catalog continue to compete. I think they mean for, because they didn't include the word for. Warner Brothers and its legacy catalog, which includes DC and Harry Potter, the authors note. Though the HBO owner is proceeding with its March 20 shareholder vote on the proposed Netflix deal, it has given Paramount a week to come up with more compelling offer. Authorities say, here's the source. I'm sending it to you now, Adara, if you want to be able to deal. Okay, so there you go. So there you go, guys. It's already on the Reuters website. So if you if you know about Archive, I'm not going to say anything else, but if you know about Archive, you guys can, you guys can see that. So just wanted to mention that, Joey, because I know you were involved in it.
Yeah. A brief second. As soon as it broke that support level that I was talking about, we got at a dodge on that. The TQ is working for us, and I think we can catch an additional leg lower here on Walmart. So we're going to be patient, and maybe we can re-engage. This could be a good opportunity right now, but I talked about the downtrend that you have to take into consideration. Is it best for you to wait, or are you going to try to catch it a little bit early? So keep an eye out on that. Again, we're going to just go over the same things, because it took us a while for us to really engage in something. 2 for 2 on the TQQQs. Yeah, we're just waiting for the good opportunities here, essentially, see if we can get involved at the right place and at the right time. Unfortunately, things don't always go that way, but we're in a key, we're at a key inflection point right now, essentially. If this breaks, if this opening drive low 10-minute print breaks, then there could be some more downside here. We've got to keep an eye on the Meg 7. I'm going to do that. Yeah. I'm just going to go with that, because I don't want analysis paralysis right now. Oh, Apple's going up, NVIDIA is going down. What's going on? Microsoft's doing this, doing that. So, yeah, that's what we got going on. Gorev could be a good chance to get involved with that Netflix trade one more time. Let's see if we can get a breakdown in Walmart here.
All right, sorry, I'm just messaging.
Yeah, no problem.
1 second.
So I don't think it's working how we want it to. This might take some more time to turn around, but there goes Walmart. Yes. I'm glad that we only took 33% off. Looking for a little bit more of a room. Where am I in at 70s? We're printing 40s right now, so we still have a little bit of size on this one, which I'm happy. So again, one or two more trade. I would like to have put some more on, but unfortunately I used up too much risk. I mean, we were down half a shutdown on the Walmart initial trades, and now we're just kind of chipping away to the point where if I see a high quality opportunity later on in the session, I mean, we're running into 1 o'clock right now, so there's only 3 hours left. Then we could just hammer it. It's either it's going to work or I just end up exactly where I was before, and I'm okay with that scenario. So, yeah, that's it, man.
All right, brother. All right, we're good to go here. We're building a position into BATL. Still waiting for that ultimate print. I was waiting for that VWAP retracement. Hasn't quite made it up there, but it is bouncing back after, and I did expect that. That was exactly what I was looking for. I didn't want to build the position too aggressively, so let's see if it does reject that 75 penny area, give or take. I also want to mention RELY is bleeding now. It has lost the 20, the 10, and it's on the way down, possibly into 17. Volume weighted average price on RELY is 1704. So this one showing 1734 right now. Let's see if it heads back down and touches that, 17-ish volume weighted average price. I also am, oh, there goes drama, Bovin. Good call, Bovin. There it goes right into 198. Shut it to the OG Bovin. I wouldn't have traded this only because it lost VWAP, the 10, everything came into a non-predictable area of support. I wouldn't have picked it up off, so I don't feel too bad about this. But I got to go back to BATL here. It looks like it's putting in an aggressive red candle. I just want to see it lose the $0.50. Because it pretty much was pretty staunchy defending that 450 area. There was one candle that actually did breach it, and that was the candle at 1235 on the 5-minute chart that went into 443. Other than that, the $0.50 has been a good area of defend. We've got 55s on. It's showing me 54s, so it's not too bad at the moment, but it's not exactly a glowing endorsement for the short. I'm looking for a loss of that 1235 bar that I mentioned with a 443 low. So do you want to start the news?
Yeah,
good to go?
Fired
All
up.
right, let's start the news.
I'm in a couple positions here.
Likewise.
So okay.
Yep. Yeah, likewise. I'm just going to manage them with stops, but you never really know with these small cap gappers. You may have to kind of interrupt and intervene. All right, let me just put this on a screen that I do not need. Let's put this one. That's RELY. That's good right there. Perfect. And then we'll keep that like this. Good stuff. All right, let's talk about the first topic here, Zuck. Meta up 0.06 on the day. They did have a different headline with respect to a watch. The one I want to focus on was Mark Zuckerberg at trial yesterday testifying. So here's what he said. Oh, this is the wrong one. I do apologize. I didn't mark this one up. So let's go to the other one over here, which is the copy. Yeah, good. Sorry about that, Assassino. Here we go. So CEO Mark Zuckerberg testified in a federal trial examining whether Instagram fueled teen addiction and mental health harm. The plaintiffs in this case argue Meta knowingly designed features to maximize engagement, which contributed to compulsive usage among minors. Internal documents presented at the trial referenced discussions about teen usage metrics and growth targets. The case, though, centers on whether Meta's product design, so the way they design Instagram, Facebook, prioritized engagement over mental health safety. That is kind of this what we call the mischief that's being addressed here in the trial. Zuckerberg defended Meta's mission. He stated the company aims to build a positive social experience. He acknowledged, though, that engagement metrics are important, but he denied that they were pursued at the expense of a user's well-being. The plaintiffs, for their part, they're alleging that algorithmic features amplified harmful content and prolonged screen time among teens. The legal focus is on the design rather than the intent of the actual algorithm. So look, it's not just a money thing here, right? It's not just a quantum of damages that Meta may pay out to different, plaintiffs in this case and the thousands of others. That would be a legal overhang. But it's also the specific performance that can be issued by the judge, right? There could be operational changes into how Meta's algorithm actually functions, how it operates. That could be very disruptive. And that was my concern, and that's why I got the hell out of Meta, because I don't know what this judge is going to do. I have no idea. And it's going to be a contingent liability for like months. They're probably going to appeal this if they lose. And again, as I mentioned to you, there are tons of other pending litigations around this exact issue. So ongoing litigation obviously adds reputational risk in addition to the damages that have to be paid and possible changes to the algorithm itself. Joey controls more than 20% of Meta's voting power, which reinforces leadership stability amid litigation, but it could also lead to stubbornness and how to defend this particular case.
Absolutely, I agree with you. We already know that other countries are taking measures in order to kind of cool off engagements, especially in the younger population. We know the addictive features within scrolling. Everybody talks about doom scrolling, and Instagram Reels is definitely going to lead you into that realm. I'm going to get all out of Walmart here, guys, as it's starting to come back. That's totally fine. We take some off there. But aside from that, I like that you brought up the point is like, hey, he might be a little bit stubborn on the fact of just kind of adjusting the algorithm. How much more can you do? Because essentially, if you think about it, what are you going to do? Put a time limit on it? I don't know how you're going to change it, because essentially he's running his business model. He wants user engagement, and people don't like that. So it's just consistent shots of dopamine. What you're going to do to reduce that, I don't know, aside from maybe limiting time, limiting, you know how on certain apps, it's like, hey, you got a certain amount of things, and then that's it. You only have that much for the day.
They got that in there, but the parents have to activate it.
Okay, so it's like, okay, you can only go through so many reels, you gotta activate that. So maybe you implement a measure in the fact that it's like, hey, you're under this age, it's already, it's automatically enforced.
Nice move,
right?
Nice move.
So just automatically enforce that so you're not doom scrolling. I think that should go for all ages, because we all know that you can spend endless amounts of time on
Can I
this
say
stuff.
something? This used to be on TikTok, but they removed it. Ram, are you there? Do you remember when TikTok used to have that thing that came up when you were on it for a while and be like, hey, you've been on it too long, get off, go do something. They stopped that, ironically enough. Isn't that interesting, huh? Because it's not good for the business.
How long ago did they stop that?
I want to say a year and a half, 2 years,
roughly
Joey,
around
something like
when,
that,
the talks about banning TikTok in the States.
I want to say it could have been around that time. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, it is interesting. Anyway, let's get Adara's take on the Meta story.
Yeah, I think the really funny part of this is Mark Zuckerberg saying that he consulted with Tim Cook, CEO of Apple. Like, what is Apple CEO Tim Cook going to help you with this? He doesn't run a social media platform. He has an iPhone company that doesn't often do iPhones, so I thought that was kind of an odd little thing that he peppered into there. I don't really know what the point of that was. I think either way, like, it's going to be... It's kind of catch-22, and it'll be interesting to see how this is kind of resolved, because I do think, as Sharif said, it'll set a precedence for other cases going forward. Now, I don't know if the smart thing is to kind of admit liability, bow out, and pay up, like some of these other companies did, settling. And again, you're not necessarily admitting liability, but you're certainly like at least willing to pay. Or if it's better to sit and stand trial. I think we'll find out depending on what the outcome of this case is. But either way, massive legal milestone to watch. I want to mention as well here, MSFT getting some competition from Anthropic with Claude launching its own PowerPoint product. It's actually called Claude and PowerPoint. So keep an eye here in MSFT, a little bit of a spike lower, but this thing's already at low of day. So kind of hard to interpret which, if this is necessarily related. I'm also seeing comments from Trump coming out that they'll get a deal in Iran one way or the other, and that, quote, really bad things will happen if there's no Iran deal. He's already said things to this effect earlier today. Back to you.
Yep, we're all bracing for that. Yeah, but to build on Adara's comment about Timmy C being thrown in there during trial, it is well documented. Mark Zuckerberg does not like Tim Cook. And he was asked point blank, I think it was The Verge who did the interview with him. And they're like, well, you know, how do you feel about him? And he's like, I think he asked him about big tech CEOs, and he's like, yeah, Sunder's cool. Sundar Pichai, obviously, of Google, of Alphabet, he doesn't like Tim Cook. And the reason is pretty simple. Timmy C has put the kibosh on so many of the features that Mark wanted to include in the Instagrams and the Facebooks and all his other products. He didn't let him do it, right? And he controls the environment vis-a-vis, obviously, the App Store. So there's no love lost between those two, so it doesn't surprise me that he threw his name in there and with a negative twist. I just want to know what the hell the connection is, right? So obviously, I don't know if this is a judge-only trial or if there's a jury. We'll have to find out, because obviously it could be, I'm not trying to say the jury is not capable of making, you know, good factual decisions, but judges tend to, you know, be less emotional about some of these things. So we'll have to wait and see how that all goes, Joey. But yeah, interesting take. Let's go on to the next story. Alphabet deepens its partnership with Sea, which is a Southeast Asia company. So Alphabet and Google Alphabet's Google, excuse me, and Singapore-based Sea are expanding their partnership to embed AI tools across Sea's digital entertainment e-commerce shop. It's called Shopee, as well as their fintech ecosystems. The companies are going to jointly build this AI agentic shopping prototype, and it's going to integrate into Google's AI. They're going to integrate, Google's AI into Shopee to enhance product discovery and automated shopping workflows. Both firms also plan to trial an AI-driven payment system, potentially tightening, the loop between shopping and payment. This builds on prior collaborations that the two companies have had. My look is, here's what I learned yesterday. So this is how this is how it's kind of being looked at. There's 5 levels of AI, and chat, fact check me on this if you disagree. I'd love to hear your comment. This is what I was telling Brendo in the morning. LLM, the lowest level, large language models, and then above LLM is agentic AI. And then above agentic AI is multi-agent. So there would be an agent for every task and the multitask process, and they would all coordinate with one another. So that's multi-agent AI. And then above that, you have AGI, artificial general intelligence, that can rationalize like a human and understand its own thoughts. And then you have artificial super intelligence as like the main one, the top of the spectrum. And so I feel like we're working into now from phase 2 into phase 3, where you're going from agentic AI, which we're already in, and to this multi-agent kind of thing where they coordinate
like the
together.
OpenClaw and
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. No, I think it's interesting, and as you mentioned, Sharif, you're just continuously growing. The technology is growing at a rapid pace, and you're starting to see a lot of partnerships form, Google doing the exact same thing. So I think that's what we have to look forward to in the near future. Gemini is going to get better. They're obviously teaming up with Apple as well to integrate into Siri. So there's a lot going on, and we can see the valuations of these companies continuing to climb. And that's where I run into an issue, Sharif, and I like how you mentioned the 5 stages, is what is, like, outside of an LLM, what is ChatGPT essentially? And I think that's where it's really lagging at this point. And that's where I have a big time issue with the valuation, because if that's the case, I mentioned before, what does that mean for Google and these other companies who are kind of taking those next steps and taking those stages higher and higher before ChatGPT does?
That's fair. That's fair. Tony, Hypercube says, you're kind of mixing terms that don't necessarily stack in the hierarchy, apples to oranges. I'd love to hear your take, brother, but tag me so that I can see your comment. I'd love to read it out loud. In the meantime, let's go on to the next story. Tesla wins FCC approval for wireless EV charging. Apparently, this wireless EV charging technology can actually do more than, you guessed it, charge cars wirelessly. They can actually communicate through what they're calling ultra-wideband, UWB. So the FCC granted Tesla a waiver allowing the use of UWB, ultra-wideband spectrum, for wireless EV charging. The approval enables Tesla to operate UWB devices for vehicle charging, provided they don't interfere with other systems. Apparently, according to the test, they didn't. The waiver confirms Tesla demonstrated the tech would not undermine the existing communications network, and the charging would occur via a floor-mounted charging pad using electromagnetic coils to transfer energy without cables. UWB radios, though, would allow precise vehicle positioning over the charging pad to ensure optimal alignment, whatever. And this is the part that kind of caught my attention. UWB may also enhance vehicle-to-device communication and improve Tesla's smart infrastructure integration. So I'd like to see how they want to use this technology. UWB. I don't think this is necessarily new at all. Anybody who follows Porsche and the release of the new, what's it called? Not the Cayman, not the Taycan. What's the other one? The SUV. Guys, help me out. So there's not the Cayman, no.
Not the Huracan.
I forget the main SUV, like not the small one. Not the Bronco, Macan, not the Macan, no, the bigger one, guys, the one that's bigger. The Cayenne, thank you.
There you go.
The Cayenne.
Your boy got it.
Yeah, man, shout out Jim, there's a whole bunch of people got it. So the point is, that new one, the EV version of the Cayenne, has wireless charging. And I was watching the video with Doug DeMauro, everybody that was reviewing it, you just drive over it. It charges wirelessly, so not new technology, Jeff.
No, not new, but it's good that you're starting to see some steps in the. I think what's really important with EVs is the infrastructure, and I think this could be a big step forward here for Tesla. Not everybody wants to plug in. You may forget to plug in when you get home or anything along those lines. But if you have this pad installed at home, sure enough, when you go and park it in the garage or in your driveway or along those lines, you're automatically getting that charge as long as you align it at the right places. So I think it's a good step.
It's not a game changer.
It's not a game changer, but I think it's small wins here and there, right? Consistent wins, right? So then we know with the charging infrastructure, the charging stations, people stealing the copper out of that. So it's like, okay, you go to these pads, you may have to shovel a little bit of snow, but if you just go and park your vehicle over, you have it already established in the pavement or in the concrete, whatever it may be harder to disrupt the charging.
Did you hear what happened with Marques Brownlee and Elon?
No, what happened?
So Marques dropped a video, I think, a year and a half ago when Elon announced the Cybercab, and he's like, bro, if Tesla produces the Cybercab before 27, I'll shave my head. So then Elon posted the first Cybercab coming off production. So everybody's going and using AI of Elon shaving Marques Brownlee's head. He's like, yo, Elon doesn't start a fight, but he won't forget.
Yeah, he will not forget. Do you think Marques is going to do that?
100%. Marques Brownlee is, to me anyway, as legitimate of a reviewer as they come.
I don't think he's overly biased whatsoever.
I don't think so at all.
Especially when he goes over, when he was going over the Xiaomi phones and Apple, and he's honest
bro.
about the
when they're better, they're better, man.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it should be interesting to see how that whole thing. Except he sped 110 in a school zone. Yeah, that's no good.
Who, Marques did?
I guess that's what Hangry Wife was saying.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I'm not sure if she means Marques or Elon. I'm assuming it's Marques. Let's go on to the next story. So this is Microsoft related, but it is about OpenAI, of course. OpenAI is close to finalizing the first phase of a new funding round expected to exceed $100 billion. This is one of the largest private capital raises in the history of mankind, okay? I don't mean that hyperbole. That's what the article said. Companies' post-money valuation could surpass $850 billion, up from the prior $830. Pre-money valuation, though, about $730 billion, according to sources. Funding here is aimed at supporting, of course, we know what it's going to support, the massive AI infrastructure expansion, and it's preparing for, trillions in long-term compute investment, according to, obviously, statements made by Altman. The first phase commitments are expected from major stakeholders like Amazon, SoftBank, NVIDIA, Microsoft. Prior reports indicated contributions of about $50 billion from Amazon, $30 billion from SoftBank, about $20 billion from NVIDIA. The investments may be structured in tranches, though. That's my understanding about their deal with NVIDIA. I don't know anything about their deal with SoftBank or Amazon, but Jensen's made it very clear these are tranches, and it's up to that amount. It's not a guaranteed sum of money. As a part of the funding alignment, though, OpenAI is expected to deepen its use of Amazon's cloud services and AI chips, Trainium specifically, and this would be a marked departure from the exclusive use of Azure, which had been part of the deal between Microsoft and OpenAI, but they have since obviously diversified their cloud supplier. And we've been seeing more neo-cloud push from AWS, from Google, Azure as well, and the signals intensifying competition between the cloud providers. Nothing that we didn't know, Joey.
So my question, and this is a genuine question.
Go.
My question to you is, with Sam Altman's continuous rounds of funding, do you think that this falls into an issue with his ability to monetize ChatGPT right now?
Yes, dude, yes. What do you even mean? Like this guy, he's charging $200 a month for the most expensive thing.
Yeah.
You're telling me that's gonna cover this?
Exactly.
It's not gonna cover it. It's gonna be ads. And then when ads come in, people are gonna question the veracity of the responses. They're gonna wanna know if they're biased.
So the next question being, do you think he's too slow on the movement of adding digital ads into ChatGPT, considering he's just doing these continuous funding rounds, which I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around this, because it's like every week it seems like he's getting new funding, but yet we're not really seeing any drastic changes in the monetization of ChatGPT. No. It's small things here and there, sure, small wins add up, but when are you really going to start to get the digital ads in there?
And when you do, does usage drop? And then here's the thing, though. Chat puts it first. Can we realistically say that other LLMs are not going to include ads? Because they got to monetize as well. But to be fair, Like, let's look at Google, for example, Gemini. Google has a more direct runway to monetize their AI CapEx than Chat does. Why? Because they do B2B, right? They have the Neo Cloud. They have Google Cloud, which offers cloud service. And B2B is way higher margin than B2C. So to me, Google and some others who are already in the cloud game, they have a more direct path to revenue than OpenAI's and the advertising. I personally, look, Altman says that the ads are not going to be in the body of the response. It's going to be separate, but we don't know what the hell the algorithm is.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out, because you got to like the way that I look at it is, remember YouTube back in the day when there was essentially no ads, and how much they've now interpreted ads into day-to-day use in YouTube, just to the basic, the free usage. I think Altman has to do that. Altman has to find a way where again, it's extremely disruptive. And to the point where people are still going to use, like, it's the largest streaming platform out there. People still use it. Yeah. I think Altman has to go. We talk about putting your neck out there. It's just throw it out there. Start collecting that digital ad revenue, because these funding rounds, I don't think they're too good of a thing, in my opinion. And if that IPO comes, it can be extremely dangerous, considering he's indebted to a lot of individuals.
Oh, he's huge. He's huge right now. Yeah, absolutely. All right, great comments from you guys, by the way. I'm loving all the comments that you guys know. I'm not spitting on Joey at Wendy's Tendies.
Wendy's.
Oh, man, that made me laugh. Who still uses ChatGPT, says JD Izzle. I kind of use it for some stuff, but like I've moved away. So on my phone, I'm exclusively using Grok. I'm using Grok and Gemini when I want up-to-date kind of information, not historical things that it was trained on. I want kind of current. The reason is, for why I explained to Obi yesterday, is because Grok uses X as a real-time kind of data for up-to-the-minute or up-to-date information, and Gemini, obviously the same thing. They use Google's index, search index. So that's my my little take there. Let's go on to the next story, though, Joseph Options.
Absolutely.
Because we want to talk about here Carvana. Oh boy. Where's it at? Where's the Vana CVNA? Show me. It is, it's okay. It's still SSR, so it's off the lows, but it's down 8 2/3. Let's talk about this. It was down as low as 22%, dropping to 28.40. I get in the pre. Let's see if it was even worse. Man, it lost. What are you talking about, bro? It went to 270 yesterday in the aftermarket. It was better this morning, though. Disappointing top-line growth. Revenue surged to 58%, up to $5.6 billion. That beats a 5.27 expected by the street. In adjusted EBITDA, $511 million. That does miss consensus estimate of $540 million. EPS, though, this is not really a directly comparable EPS. They printed 422. The street was looking for 110, but it was heavily influenced by a one-time accounting item, which we'll get to in a second. Net income, again, heavily influenced by that one-time accounting item, $951 million compared to a year ago, $159 million. So yeah, profit was boosted by, yes, that $685 million valuation allowance gain on the deferred tax assets, which was partially lowered by $67 million in the decline for their fair value root warrants. The core takeaway from this whole thing is headline earnings strength, not entirely operational, not entirely as a result of operations. Let's talk about their metrics, because this is what they do. Retail unit sales hit a record for the company. They sold 163,500 cars in the quarter. That's good consumer demand. However, reconditioning costs, which they do, they buy used cars, they fix them up, they recondition them, that costs something, those went up as a result of inflation, which ate into margins. Retail depreciation as well rose. So when they buy cars, they don't just stay stagnant at the price they bought them at, they fluctuate. So apparently there was more depreciation for their current inventory, which had a bit of an effect there as well. They do expect significant growth, according to the company, in both retail unit sales and their adjusted EBITDA in the current year. And they lowered their long-term annual growth rate, Joey, from 20 to 40%. And now they're saying about 18 to 38. That's not too bad.
I like what Katina Man was saying this morning as well, too. Is just I think a lot of people are kind of switching over to that used car aspect. I think it's relatively smart, right? Because, as soon as you step off the lot, you lose value in the brand new vehicle, essentially, right out of the gate. But Shreve, just to add to a couple of your points, you talked about retail units on the quarter, but on the year, that's up 43% year over year. They sold approximately just a little bit under 600,000 units, which isn't bad whatsoever. I mean, there's not very many of these legacy automakers selling that on the year. So I think that's a pretty good look there, guys. Retail gross profit, $489 million on the year, 32% year over year. So if we go on to a year over year basis, there's substantial growth. Retail units, 43% I just mentioned. Revenues up 58% as well too. And you're seeing a slight uptick in the margin at 9.1%. So CVNA not looking too bad whatsoever. And in my opinion, that short report, I mean, we got to get into those funky accounting practices.
Yeah.
But what we have to take into consideration is that this name was almost on the D-list program. It was almost gone to never be seen again. It rebounded and went, honestly, on a run like no other. I personally haven't seen that before. From trading at $3 or so 4 years ago to trading up to $480. But after that short report, Sharif, you're down 34%, and it looks like it wants to continue to slide here.
It's a new day, Zion. It's a new day. He's shocked. He's like, shorting small caps now? Wow. Yeah, we're trying. Okay, so we're a penny out of the money, mind you. 456. I'm short at 455, but hey, I'm gonna let this one go, and we'll see what comes of it. Let's talk about Joey's favorite here, WMT. Soft guidance overshadowing a solid holiday comparable year over year. So U.S. comparable sales grew a very healthy 4.6% year over year, ahead of the 4.2 expected by the street, which showed resilience despite concerns about tariffs and slower consumer spending. More on that in a minute. Overall revenue rose even more, 5.6% year over year bump on the top line number. That is slightly above Wall Street estimates, and it was driven primarily by the strength in groceries as well as e-commerce. Again, more on that in a second. Adjusted EPS for the year, that missed. They're forecasting 275 to 285. The street wanted 296, so even the high end of the range doesn't even meet there. With full year consolidated net sales now projected to grow 3.5% to 4.5%. Again, the street wanted 5, so a bit of a miss there. Now, we know we're going through a CEO transition with Dougie McMillan. He's out. He did really well. And as you see, you know, the price of Walmart stock during his tenure, not too bad, but they're transitioning to a newer, younger John Furner who wants to take the company into an AI-driven era and retail optimization for supply chain agility. Now, U.S. retail sales, excluding key categories, I'm not sure which key categories are referring to, the article doesn't mention, only rose 0.1% in December. That is softer than expected, but they are seeing higher income households, and I think we've been reporting about this for a couple of years now, really look to drive their market share. So they're saying, especially in groceries and essential goods, they're seeing a lot of 100,000 plus income households buying those specific categories, which shows you that even, you know, the higher earners are under pressure as a result of tariffs and not tariffs, but inflation. Commerce and store fulfilled delivery channels grew 50%, double-digit growth in higher margin categories. I mean, like clothing, home, toys, etc. That did quite well. And then online sales. The reason that I held this thing in 21 and 22, that was my thesis. It didn't manifest there. It's manifesting now. Too late for me, no longer involved in the name. Rose 27%. And it is now 15 straight quarters where they've had double-digit growth in their online sales. Needless to say, they're looking at Amazon here.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at, Sharif. And you and I have been talking about this for quite some time. It's just the e-commerce growth within Walmart. And I'm not going to say they're just absolutely going to be overly disruptive to the Amazons. I think they're just completely different things. But you can get your groceries online, something that Amazon is yet to really offer. But one thing that I really, really like is you mentioned that double-digit growth. I mean, this is global advertising revenue. This is huge, up 46% year over year. I think that's massive for the company. Double-digit incremental margins as well, too. So there's a lot going on from the e-commerce segment. Global e-commerce growth for the full year, 24%, now 23% of total net sales, which I think is a substantial move as we start to shift everything to online. People don't want to go out and buy everything from the store. And what we also seen in Walmart as well, too, guys, is that when the tech trade was selling off, where did we see a rotation into? The staple. It wasn't kind of, it was the staples that really, really head held up some portfolios. And when you have that balanced portfolio, Walmart went on a substantial move from that tech selling. So that's why I really like this name. E-commerce growth, Sam's Club up as well too. So across the board, you're not going to get the crazy growth numbers, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
But if you look at 25% from an e-commerce standpoint in North America and globally, that's pretty big for Walmart. But you're going to get the modest revenue growth like that 5%.
But that's healthy, Joey. This thing's 100 years old. It's a zillion years old.
It's steady, right? So that means the company is consistently improving. They're becoming more efficient, and that's what you want to see. And I think that's why a lot of people fly. The flight to safety thing, sure. I'm looking at Walmart, in my opinion.
I agree with you. I think this is a hell of a company, especially with a new CEO coming in with a very AI, basically e-commerce focused. Not like the other CEO wasn't, but we're going to get a new take, possibly even better. Guys, go ahead.
You and it's like, okay, when there's economic uncertainty, you got people swaying from the more expensive grocery stores, and then you're getting into those bargains where you get a little bit more for your buck. And I think that's the Walmarts, right? Like the Walmart people not going to the Whole Foods or whatever it means, the Loblaws, the Sobeys, the things that are a little bit more expensive. We typically tend to go where we can make our dollar go a little bit further.
My man. All right, we're doing well here on BATL. So the first short of these small cap gappers we're going to be profitable on. We've got 62s on, Joey. We just went the beak there at 46. Looking for a little bit more. Now I'm looking for 34. Let's see if that comes in. How's the chart look on NAMM? We can pause for a second. Shout out to the OG farm trader. Let's see. Oh, sorry, that's Florida man transplant. Shout out to my man there. NAMM wants to take a quick look at that. That looks really good. It's light on volume, but it's a fantastic looking chart. Intraday up 30%. Volume on today, 4.41 million on a $3.50 name at 130. So it is a little bit light, but it's got 2 bull flags under its belt. It's in the consolidation phase of the second bull flag right now, with the range being 350 to the upside, and generally, I want to say 340 or 3 high 30s to the low side. It's up 30%, as I mentioned. Trade it carefully. If it loses the bid, I would say at around 335. You're looking likely at a retracement back down into that breakout level. I want to say 310 where VWAP is, which is also overlapping with the top end of the first bull flag, which would be this right here. That's the first bull flag, and then that's the second bull flag. Shout out. Hope you print up multiple storms on that side of the screen. Let's go up to the next story over here. Dash. Let's talk about DoorDash. Not a company that I know too much about, but here's how they did. 48 pennies EPS, that missed. Street wanted 59. Despite improved profitability year over year. Revenue, 3.96 billion. Again, a top and bottom line miss. 3.99 billion expected by analysts, but still a strong 38% year over year increase on that top line number, coming from 2.87 million. They take home 3.96. Net income, now this is kind of what was important here. $231 million in profit, up from $141 million. Margin expansion here is being credited for that, despite the heavy investment spending by the company. It dropped, I think, 10% in the aftermarket hours, but it is now up 3.25, so not bad. Total orders climbed for the company. Oh, wow. There goes BATL into the low. Joseph Options, we're taking this one short. Shout out to my boy Neil for getting me these. All right, now we're going down, Joe. We're going down, baby.
This guy's going to be, now you're hooked, brother, on the shorts, brother. That's it. It's over.
We've been wanting to do this for a minute, man. Let's continue. What total orders for DoorDash climbed 32% year over year, up to 903 million. Gross order value jumped to 39%, up to almost 30 billion, 29.7, showing higher basket size and platform scale. Estimates had already been reduced after a bad Q3 disappointment, so the reaction here underscores investor sensitivity to execution risk. And shout out to the OG, Tony Xu. He emphasized long-term investment in global tech infrastructure, integrating DoorDash, Deliveroo, and Wolt into one unified platform. The company had previously announced plans to spend several $100 million on tech upgrades, and they're guiding Q1 adjusted EBITDA at about 675 to 775 million. That is below the consensus estimate of 802 million. Despite the rebound, the stock remains, I want to give you the exact percentage here that they're down on the year. They're down 21.15% year to date, Joey.
Good stuff. Yeah, let's take a look at the technical. Yeah, you brought down the how much they're down. I mean, they're getting hit. Uber's getting hit as well too. I think it's a little bit more popular in the state stream. I heard you and Brendo talking about that this morning. I mean, as Uber being a verb now, essentially, it's just again the fact that you're going to Uber, and that's what I think the real power lays within Uber itself. DoorDash is that secondary one. It's kind of like the lift to the Uber driving and the rideshare program there. But other than that, states starting to grow. That's what you want to see. There's a lot going on, Sharif. You mentioned not too long ago, total orders up to 903 million. That's 32% year-over-year growth. That's substantial. Marketplace GOV up 39% as well too. So you're getting those mid double digits in growth, and that's exactly what you want to see. Free cash flow down a little bit year-over-year, but what you're really starting to see is just the growth of this company and slowly chipping away at what Uber is. If you have a quality service, then people are going to sway to that. But one thing I'm also like Sharif, they're making $11 to $12 net revenue per order, which I think is pretty good as well.
That's not bad at all,
That's not
man.
bad whatsoever.
That's a good look there. Dara, give us your take on Dash.
So I actually know this business pretty well, and I've mentioned this before on the show, not insider trading because she quit before I started, actually a couple weeks before I started here, but my friend did work at DashMart for like about a year, and she also accidentally somehow ended up on their corporate email chain. So I've seen things of this company and how they run, just full disclosure here, on DASH. Now, in terms of this quarter, I really think that maybe in terms of how they report, and I think it makes a lot of sense the stock gapped up, like the growth for GOV and for total orders, as Joe and Sharif mentioned, they're really, really impressive, and I think really something that needs to be addressed, especially given how stagnant the growth was for both of these metrics throughout Q1, Q2, and Q3 of this year. Like we've got roughly 20% growth, 10% growth. Then you skyrocket all the way to this like 30% growth. So yeah, I think maybe this is like a seasonal thing. Maybe this is what DoorDash does every Q4. I'd have to look back at the quarters a little bit more, and maybe I will do that when I have time going forward next week. But regardless, I think it's a good look here for DASH. And I would argue people do use DoorDash. Like I personally, I don't have a preference. I price compare. I'm like, what's having the best deal? What's having the best discounts? Whatever. That's the way, in my opinion, you have to do it. And I'm biased towards Skip the Dishes because we had Skip before we had Uber or Dash in Winnipeg because Skip is from Winnipeg. So like all of that being said, you know, I would like to think a lot of consumers are going with whatever the best deal is. That's just from my experience. Regardless, DASH, company I happen to know a lot about, and I do like this quarter. Back to you.
I like the point that you brought up there, Dara, just the fact that a colder climate, so maybe Q4 being a little bit more active for them. Skip the Dishes being Canadian, that is something that I personally don't use, and maybe we should start to, as Canadians, take a look into that. But price comparison is extremely important. I'm glad that you do that.
Not just Canadian, from Winnipeg.
From Winnipeg, so exactly, there you go, from Winnipeg itself. So a lot of orders probably going because people don't want to go outside. They'd rather sit inside. And I mentioned, during those snowstorms, there was very few people out on the road, but people still want to eat. They want to order in those food. And you have those people on DoorDash, Skip the Dishes, on Uber Eats, really delivering that stuff in times of need. So very interesting take. I like that, Adara. As for any entries right now, guys, I'm not in anything. We got out of the TQQQs. It did establish to put in a new LOD, then bounced right off of those levels, and then now we're starting to see a little bit of sideways price action. Walmart did establish a new pivot low, rebounding off of that. It was an intraday low as well too, guys, so keep that in mind. Netflix just wasn't doing what I wanted it to. I was in it. Now it's starting to recover, but it's way past me. I was already in. It took a long time for this thing to turn around. The momentum was most definitely to the downside. So we did have a little bit of a rough start here on Netflix as it's slowly starting to recover. Aside from that, guys, nice recovery day for me. Let's see if we can keep that up right now.
Attaboy, Joey. Sounds out, man. Let's talk a little Figma here. Let's see where it's at first and foremost. Fig. We're up 7 2/3. Not a bad look. EPS. 8 pennies, barely beating the 7 expected by analysts, a modest beat there. Revenue, $303.8 million, that beats the 293.15 expected, and it's also a 40% increase on that top line number. The company posted, though, however, a net loss of $226 million, about 44 cents per share. Compare that to last year when they brought home $33.1 million. They're trying to blame a lot of that on the post-IPO dynamics as well as certain accounting items. It was up 15% extended trading, maybe even more. It's attempting to reverse what is, at the time of the writing of this article, a 35% year-to-date decline. And they're now down 30.5% year-to-date. Let's talk about the guidance here. They're guiding Q1 revenue of between 315 to 317 million. That implies a 38% growth, well above the consensus estimates of 292 million. What's going on, Obe? Full year 2026 revenue outlook, they're saying 1.3 billion to 1.366 billion to 1.374 billion. They score?
Oh my.
Okay. Suggesting also a 30% growth for that. And as compared to the 1.29 billion expected, so it beats there. The market focused on the accelerating growth narrative despite, the broader software weakness that we've been seeing in the market in 26, software Mageddon, SaaS Mageddon, whatever you want to call it. But they do have tools here, and these tools are on the rise. Usage is going crazy here. So Figma Make, which is their generative AI design tool, it's powered by Anthropic and Google. Weekly active users for Make jumped 70%, not year over year, but quarter over quarter. So that's really good. Gross margins held steady at an eye-watering 86%. That's fantastic, obviously, and you see that typically in software as opposed to physical goods. Beginning in March, though, Figma will start enforcing these monthly AI credit limits. Now, I've been kind of on the receiving end of that myself. I used to use this program called napkin.ai. It was free initially, right? Obviously, to kind of get you using it. And then they start using a credit system, right? Where you can use this many credits, and then if you run out, you got to re-up. So it's not an all-inclusive type thing. That's obviously good for business, not great for the user. Net dollar retention for customers contributing $10,000 annually rose 136% year over year. So that means higher paying clients, which the deeper pockets, are accelerating in terms of users. So that's obviously very good. And it increases sequentially quarter over quarter because it was 131% last quarter. Last but not least, Joey, they're trying to do a collaboration with ServiceNow. They're aiming to convert designs made on their platform into enterprise applications. Yeah. The view is, of course, to expand that TAM, the total addressable market.
I mean, international revenue growth up 45% year over year. Sharif, you talked about Q4 revenue and full year 2025. You're seeing mid-double-digit growth there as well. So it's not too bad of a look. It's unfortunately that the stock has not reflected any form of positive price action. I mean, since its IPO, this thing has been in a steady downtrend, and it hasn't looked back. We were looking at it earlier this morning as well, too. Sharif, you're down 81%, roughly 82% from that IPO. I mean, you go back in the history of other names, Robinhood didn't perform too well after the IPO, and we can go down the list. So what I'm thinking here is that this name might take a considerable amount of time in order to recover, but the numbers are starting to slightly improve. I like that mid-double-digit growth across the board.
There goes battle into low. Oh, I'm shorting one of these small cap gappers, brother. First time. Hey, there's my boy Obi, because he was talking to Luis yesterday about it. So BATL into the area low, 325 daily low. Tell you about that. Adara is going to give you her opinion on Figma.
Yeah, I'll be pretty brief. I think one thing that's kind of interesting is I have this infographic. It's not even out yet. I'm teasing it for you guys because it will be released tomorrow while I am off. But Exit TTV Research never takes a day off, so please check it out there. Regardless, we're going to tease it out for you guys because I want to talk about some of the metrics I was kind of looking at here. Operating margin was really interesting because I think I mentioned this yesterday when I showed my earnings preview for Figma. But last quarter, Q3 2025, whopping more than 400% negative GAAP operating margin for this company. Now, their non-GAAP operating margin relatively steady around 5 to 10% throughout their life as a public company so far. But the GAAP operating margin really all over the place. I think it maybe was positive or flat Q2, but Q3 and Q4 are both negative. So interesting thing to keep an eye on here for Figma going forward. Now, with regards here to their revenue, steady sequential growth, year-over-year growth relatively flat. So I think, again, going forward, it'll be interesting to see if we can get a escalation here in terms of our year-over-year growth, expansion of that growth. And this last metric is kind of interesting. It's one that they emphasize, so I wanted to include it on here. So this is basically how many paid customers have annual recurring revenue above 10K or above 100K. Now, kind of hard to tell. Again, the metric of this is a little bit difficult to visualize, but regardless, there is sequential growth in both of these metrics for each quarter. They don't have a year-over-year growth for this, so I wasn't able to know if that is or is not the case. They didn't include that, but regardless, I mean, other than the gap operating margin, which I hope will kind of steady out as this company ages, for lack of a better term, not a bad look for Figma. I think relatively like flat or steady sequential growth is better than massive swings, at least for now.
Thank you very much. Guys, I want to mention LGHLSSE. No, it's making a move. Shout out to TT Mass. Shout out to Bovin. They're all calling it out. I want to mention, though, that it's done 1.32 million shares of volume. It's $1.73, and the time is 1:45. So keep that in mind when you get in. But I like this 150 to 155 level. That's where I perceive the breakout to be, 10 a.m., 155 reject. You get another reject in 10:05. You get another one at 11:05. You get a close one here at 11:20. You get another rejection at 120, and there's the breakout there at 130. So I'd be looking for a 155. It's also the volume weighted average price currently, but the price action could develop, and that could move up about 39 2/3%. Ticker is LGHL. Shout out to the chat. Thank you for that, guys. Joey,
yes, sir.
Let's go on to the next topic. We're going to talk a little Etsy. I haven't used Etsy in a while. The only time I did use it, I was mentioning on the morning show today, was when I bought my cousin's son a little like name plaque, and then you can kind of pull the letters out and put them back in. It was kind of a way for him when he was younger to kind of learn how to spell his name, the alphabet, that whole thing. So and it was custom made by somebody in the location of where I live. So it was on Etsy. I wanted to support local. Etsy agreed, though, Joey, to sell Depop to eBay for $1.2 billion in cash nearly 5 years after they bought it for $1.62 billion. So an easy $420 million loss there. I'm not trying to crap on them, but that's not good, obviously. The sale represents a loss on the original price, as I mentioned. The transaction is expected to close in Q2 of this year, with the CEO, Kruti Patel Goyal, said the move allows Etsy to refocus, exclusively on its core marketplace growth. And Depop's user base skews younger, with about 90% of its users under the age of 34, originally seen as Etsy's entry into the Gen Z resale. It didn't work out that way. They're going to let somebody else take a go at it. Strategy shift, though. They previously pursued a house of brand strategy to compete with Amazon and Shopify. That, I guess, hasn't worked. Has since reversed course, and they sold off this ELO7 back in 23 and Reverb last year. Depop sales signals continue to retreat from diversification and renewed emphasis on their flagship Etsy platform. The eBay angle. eBay acquiring Depop strengthens the fashion and re-commerce positioning. CEO of eBay called it a way to expand into a younger demographic. I was using eBay when I was young, so I don't even know if the kids are using it anymore. Do you use eBay?
Bro, I've never used eBay once in my life.
I used it a bunch.
But that was like the e-commerce platform back in the day, right?
It was the main one, right?
Like, I don't even know what, I'm going to be honest with you, I have no idea what Depop is.
Neither do I.
Neither do I. I have no idea. And I don't know who uses eBay anymore. I understand it's good for the resale.
I did like some stuff on eBay, Joey. So what I do is I go on Marketplace. If I can't find the product on Marketplace, I check eBay super quick.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's used items.
Like, does it have that grandfather, it's like grandfathered in aspect, but I don't think, I don't know, OB, people like my generation. I don't know if my generation.
Old saying it's good for collectibles like Pokemon cards.
Vintage stuff.
They custom manufacture certain parts, so if you can't get them, eBay has them. Okay. If you're making builds like vehicles, that definitely helps. And I think people are agreeing with you. eBay for car parts, says Alexander. So go basically what you're saying.
Yeah, very hard to find used tires and stuff like that. But I'm going to be honest with you. If you were to go to ask my siblings, my younger siblings, hey, did you use eBay? They'd laugh at me. They're like, what is eBay? Ha, ha, ha. What is, like, I was telling them about MSN Messenger. They're like, oh, what's MSN Messenger?
No, they dunked on you like that, eh?
No, I've never used any of these platforms, dude. No, I've never used any
I've never
of them.
used Pinterest,
Yeah.
but I have.
I've never heard of Depop in my life, and I've honestly scrolled eBay maybe a couple of times in my life.
No, well,
for you, it's a different story, right? Like it's a generational thing, right? It's a generational
I completely
thing.
respect
So
that.
that's where I stand on this stream. I have no idea about.
Where is
Depop.
Etsy at right now, Joey? Let's take a quick look.
I mean, 75. It's not horrible. 35%.
Oh.
I mean,
but
I mean,
you're
like,
up 11 change on the day.
Yeah,
which is not too bad, right?
eBay was up substantially as well. Oh, okay. Well, no, yeah. Things are, so here it is. COVID pop.
You might never see those levels.
You will
again,
never
though.
see those. I will put my bottom dollar on that. You will never see those.
Randall wants to know, what do you use? I'm assuming you are going to be a Facebook Marketplace and or Amazon guy.
I've been on Facebook Marketplace like twice in my life.
You're missing out, man. There are some deals you can get on
Yeah,
Marketplace,
but dude,
and they're all local.
I'm not a consumer like that, man.
All right, bro.
You know,
I'm a thrifter, though.
You're
That's,
that's
big
fine.
time,
Like
yeah.
if I need something, I'll buy it. Like
At full price?
yeah. But
set
hold
you
on,
up for that one,
let me build my case. Because
ahead,
if
go
I
ahead.
buy it new, then the chance of it lasting me longer, I know that I'm the owner of it, right?
That's fair.
Like, dude, I had an electric shaver.
Sound like my mom, Dukes.
I had an electric shaver that I
Yeah,
had
you don't want to
for
buy
like
that used.
Yeah,
you don't want to buy that
Not
used.
buying
Yeah,
used.
that's kind of nasty.
I had it for like 7 years before it broke, and I ride it until it's on its last limbs, and then when I need something new is when I'll go and buy it. And I try to get the full.
You can get
lifespan
new
of
stuff
this
too,
thing.
by the way, on Marketplace. It's not exclusive.
But that's just one more thing. I guess this is the Ankh in me coming out. That's just one more thing.
What am I then? Grandpa.
Yeah. So that's just one more thing I need to hook my Visa card up to, and then you're scrolling. Oh, I like this. I like this. But I don't classify myself as too big of a consumer.
That's fair. I respect that. We got to pause for a second, guys. Adara's got news.
It has to do with the AMD headline on Watch. Just letting you guys know the information reporting that AMD is going to be backstopping a $300 million loan for Crusoe, which is a AI startup. But here's the other interesting thing too. According to this report from the information, AMD is agreeing to rent chips from Crusoe if the startup doesn't have enough customers. So basically saying, hey, not only are we going to backstop your $300 million loan, but if you don't have enough customers, we'll be your customer. So really interesting story here. Again, reported by the information on AMD. Back to you.
Thank you.
I
That's
do.
not true, MVP Mickey. Facebook Marketplace has pure hot stuff. That's cap. It's not. It's just like regular people. I sell stuff on Facebook Marketplace all the time.
Yeah.
It's not stolen. I'm just like, you want to get rid of stuff, right?
Yeah.
You've used it. It's no longer utilitarian for you. You get rid of it, man. And that's what Marketplace
Someone
is.
says Joe doesn't sell anything. I just hold it. If I'm gonna sell something, it's to like a friend or something. Other than that, I pretty much. I'm trying to think of what was the last thing I actually sold, and I can't. I remember.
No,
Yeah. So if I
Hold on, you never used Kijiji? American friends won't know Kijiji.
brother.
Okay,
Kijiji.
that's
I don't even know what it
crazy,
essentially is,
That's
brother.
crazy.
I've never
No.
used any of these things. So.
All right. We have to go to Adara for Etsy.
I'm going to be incredibly brief. I just find it interesting that I think even though this company had earnings, I think A, the stock reaction, and B, just the general interest here, even from this conversation, has much more to do with the Depop sale than it actually does with their report. If anything, I think maybe the earnings that they had even kind of soured. People are distracted from this Depop sale. So I don't know, interesting stuff here. The timing of this for ETSY. Even when I saw the headline, I'm like, oh, they're popping before their earnings with another headline. Like, it's just a really interesting one here for me for ETSY with the timing of the Depop sale and just the stock reaction.
Yes, thank you very much for that. Let's go on. Wayfair, where are they at? W. Wayfair, you got just what I need. Ram, have you bought anything from Wayfair lately? Okay. All right, they're down 11 and a quarter. They reported Q4 EPS of 85 pennies. That beat the 69er expected by the street on revenue of $3.34 billion. That is up 6.9% year over year and ahead of the 3.3 consensus estimate of analysts. Despite that, shares fell about 6% pre-market trading, and they've almost doubled that now. Stop laughing, 11 and a quarter. Hold on, let me finish, and then we can chuckle. All right, gap weakness as well, and they're blaming a lot of this on a one-time charge. So on a gap basis, they posted a loss of 89 cents per share. That is sharply below the 1%, one penny profit last year. The results, though, they're blaming this, Joey. They're saying they were pressured by equity-based compensation, which is when you give stock options, obviously, to your employees, as well as a $165 million loss tied to debt repurchases. The gap between the adjusted and non-adjusted numbers likely weighed on investors' confidence, according to the article. And the CEO, Niraj Shah, he highlighted a fourth consecutive quarter of new customer growth, alongside what he's saying is a healthy repeat order trend. Growth occurred despite broader furniture category contracting in the low single digits in Q4. Wayfair ended 2025 with 21.3 million active customers, which is actually down 0.5% year over year from the end of 24. Mixed signals is kind of what you can summarize this report as: customer acquisition momentum versus slight total active base contraction. So what do you make of this, man? Wayfair.
It's interesting. It's really mixed, and you're not going to get that substantial growth here, Sharif. You went over some of the numbers, like full year 25, you're looking at net revenue 6.9%, U.S. Net revenue. I mean, they're not horrible numbers, 7.4% here. International is not good whatsoever. Year over year, 1.3% growth there, Sharif. So it's a mixed bag, really, for me on Wayfair. We can pull up some other things, and I mean, as for the guidance as well, too, it's a little bit tougher of a look. Profitability management indicated adjusted EBITDA margin should remain healthy. So not too many discounts, I guess, but gross margin sitting in that 30 and 31% range. We talk about the COVID here. We're over on the weekly. This is another name, even though it has been on a steady run as of late, Sharif, from those April lows. Starting to come in a little bit here, but you're down 79%. You can't be a bag holder of this.
You can't be a bag holder. All right, we're going to talk about Occidental next. And Occidental's up big. 9.5%. It is just a couple of pennies, about 30 pennies off the day high. It is making a move, and quite frankly, I want to, Joey.
Yeah.
I guarantee you probably didn't know this. Have a look at this.
It broke out. Yeah.
No, not just that. Look at energy, my energy sector there.
Yeah.
This is the year-to-date column right there. Everything, Joey, is in Greensville.
Yeah.
Everything. XOM, 26% year over year. CVX, 22. Occidental, 25.5. Devon,
but dude,
22.
Let's not beat around the bush on how hot garbage for these.
Many years, since 22.
Yeah, exactly.
Since the start of the war.
A long time.
Yeah. They moved into the war and in 23 or 22.
Sideways forever on these.
Exactly. Now let's just be more blunt about it. This has to do with a couple of reasons. One, obviously, what we saw in the beginning of January with Venezuela, and now the possible belligerencies that are going to take place in the Middle East. We're talking, of course, about Iran and the armada of U.S. warships that are on the way or already in the Strait of Hormuz. And they're basically encircling Iran, 360 degrees. Talked about the B-2 bomber leaving its base in the States. And a lot of people were trying to track the B-2. Obviously, you can't because stealth, nor do they disclose its location. But some educated guesses are where the fuel tankers are circling. They try to gauge the path of the B-2 based upon where the refueling tankers are. So that's the whole thing of, my opinion, why we're really rocketing up here on these oil stocks. But let's talk about Occidental, Joey. EPS, 31 pennies, beating the 19 expected by analysts. And a year ago, their EPS was 8 pennies. So that's a big, big improvement year over year. Prior quarter was 64 pennies versus the 48 expected, which was a 33.33% surprise. Earnings surprise this quarter came in at 62.13%, beating the estimates there. Revenue, $5.42 billion, that missed substantially. You can't tell by the price action. $7.81 billion. Revenue declined also from $6.84 billion a year ago. The company has now missed revenue estimates for 4 straight quarters. The market's focus, though, likely shifting towards pricing, production mix, and commodity sensitivity rather than, the EPS beat alone. Shares are up 25.5% year to date. Current consensus for the next quarter, 17 pennies EPS on $4.97 billion in revenue, with full year consensus being 65 pennies EPS and $20.58 billion in revenue. What I don't know, and what this article didn't say, and I'm going to look into it now while you're covering this, is why they missed revenue so substantially.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at this, guys. You can see from a technical standpoint, like the performance of this hasn't been good, especially through 22, leading into 24. You sell off in 25, now we're into 26. You're starting to see somewhat of a rebound here. But the more you zoom out, the uglier it kind of gets in Occidental, Petroleum. I mean, it's a big breakout here, and if we run into this resistance zone and reject aggressively, I think that needs to be taken into consideration. I mean, I was looking at some of the the CapEx. There's a drastic reduction in CapEx, which isn't horrible. 6.3 billion. Looking for full year 2026, opposed to 25, we had 7.1 billion. So I think that's a positive. Keeping more money in the bank and not having to pay debt is extremely important. But I still don't love these energy stocks, regardless if they're up 25%. I think it's more of a cyclical trade, to be honest with you. Up 25% right now. Yeah. And I think in a span when the tech trade's back in, who's going to start to get hit first? I think some of these
money will funnel out.
Yeah, exactly. I think some of these energy names.
So the top line miss is primarily being blamed on the weak barrel, the weak price of the barrel. So crude price correction. The primary culprit was a sharp decline in realized prices. Average worldwide realized crude oil prices dropped 15.1% year over year to about $59.22 per barrel. Natural gas, LNG, obviously, prices saw even steeper declines. That's what they're saying. And they're also saying the OxyChem divestiture. So the sale of OxyChem to Berkshire, completed in January 2nd of this year, meant that those chemical revenues are now reported as discontinued operations. It structurally lowered the reported revenue figure compared to historical quarters. So I think maybe that it was quite a lofty revenue expectation here, and I don't think it's any structural problem with the company, but a mix of obviously unrealized revenue with the OxyChem as well as a weaker barrel. That's my understanding. Let's talk about Deere. So DE is up, just to give you an idea, 44 2/3% on the year, and it is outperforming CAT. And it's outperforming CAT substantially. CAT is up 32.5%, and CAT's almost at all-time highs. So DE is really going here. Let's talk about it. Q1 net income for Deere, $656 million or $2.40. Oh, hold it, it's 2 o'clock.
It's 2 o'clock.
Nah, it's over, bro. It's over, bro.
We'll go over this.
It's 2 o'clock, Joey.
We'll go over this. I didn't want to say anything. I thought we were going to do. No, but Deere's been performing phenomenally.
Deere's been really good,
But this is going back to the picks and shovels of the AI build-out, the infrastructure. I think this is a massive